Good morning there, it's the Elite FPL radio show at 10 a.m. this morning, or in this case 10:03. I completely forgot I had to log into the the Fantasy Football Premier League every time I come onto this computer, so I can only apologise for being 3 minutes late, but we're here, we're live. We are going to be discussing all things, as you guessed it, fantasy football, but over the last few minutes, we have had some breaking West Ham news. And whether you're aware or not, basically, West Ham have announced that they are going to be signing the player Haller from Frankfurt. Now, I did the classic thing of searching up this Haller, who on earth he is. I've never heard of him before. And I've got to say, looking at his most basic statistics, simply put, it appears that West Ham have got a bit of a player on their hands here. So, he scored 15 goals last season and got 9 assists. So, that to me instantly tells me, right, that seems quite a lot. Now, admittedly, they play for Frankfurt. Where on earth did they end up in the Bundesliga? So, I checked it out, and amazingly, they ended up 7th. And obviously 7th, I know you can't compare the Bundesliga, the Premier League, I get that, I'm not stupid, but what I will say is that to me, that's kind of on a par with West Ham. Now, I'm sure there'll be people in the chat which will know a lot more about this Haller than I do. Like I said, I've never even heard of him before. But this is big news for West Ham. I mean, what impact will it have on, let's be honest here, what impact will it have on fantasy football? Let's be honest here, that's the thing that we're all here for, that's what we all want to be discussing. And to be honest with you, as FPL Boona said, it's down to the fact that Chicharito's now probably not going to be an option. I don't think he was an option anyway. I think that Chikorita was never an option, but at 6 million in a team in which, let's be honest here, are pretty attacking. He's a centre forward. He is just a in the box player, and if he's given the right service, he will get you goals. Chikorito was a kind of an option, but he was 6 million, and we all know that what the template team is starting to look like. We all know that fitting in Hernandez in the team is looking harder and harder by the day. I put out a tweet earlier on. You probably saw it, that this is what I believe is the basically the Twitter community template team, or as I like to call it, the hardcore FPL community team, which I think that the hardcore audience is approximately between 250, 350,000 players out of 6 million. That's just my opinion. You can agree or disagree with me, but that's what I believe it is. And yeah, I just think that, and if you don't know what the basic template team is, I would have brought it up, but annoyingly, I've just stupidly signed myself out of Twitter, and Jason knows all the details, surprise, surprise, and I don't have a clue what it is, because I've completely forgotten, but whatever. But basically, the template team is Digne, Laporte, Van Dijk / Robertson / TAA, so and two of those three as a back four, along with Martin Kelly. The goalkeepers being Ryan and Button, a midfield of Fraser, Zaha, Salah and Sterling, along with Dendoncker, and then up front it will be Josh King, Jota, and a 4.5. Or actually, it worked out to be 5. You had 5 million in the bank, so I just stuck in Shane Long. But yeah, that seems to be the basic template team. Up at the moment on screen is just a play around 5-4-1 team that I was going around with. I'm noticing a lot of people going with a 5-man defence actually of recent times, especially in our Discord group. Our Discord group seems to be favouring the 5-man defence, and I'm taken aback by it. But you know, if you're happy with a 5-man defence and you think that you're going to get the points more, and you think there's more value in your defenders than there are midfielders, go for it. Absolutely go for it. And I will plug this particular individual stuff because he promotes our stuff. and that's Block FPL. And Block FPL actually put out a quick 10-minute video, and basically he was doing a mini rant, not quite to the level of me, but he was doing a mini rant basically about people that just bang on about wanting to. I'm guilty. I'm kind of one of these people, but wants to spread their players across different positions and different teams rather than just sticking with one specific team. For example, being if you had a Josh King in as a striker and you wanted to get in a midfielder for say 6.5 and you think Bournemouth are going to do well and you go with David Brooks, people will shoot you down because it's like, oh, but you've got double Bournemouth. And Block was just making that simple point. If you think a player is going to get you points, bring them in. And that's why I'm actually kind of thinking I'd rather have De Bruyne than Sigurdsson. I think both De Bruyne, I said this the other day, both De Bruyne and Sigurdsson are virtually the same player in the sense of they will be a player that you need to hold on to for virtually the whole of the season to accumulate the amount of points that they will do. Because they consistently just get you returns. So it'd be something along the lines of an assist every other game, give or take. That's how I work it out to be. If they blank for a couple of games, you know that the next game they will get you some form of attacking returns. So for me, I'm actually thinking of actually having De Bruyne in my team ahead of Sigurdsson. Now, obviously, that means that that's a 1.5 upgrade from Sigurdsson, but at the end of the day, Man City, Everton, there's an obvious winner there. And obviously that is Man City. So I'm kind of thinking maybe actually going on what Block said. Well, two of the best teams in the Premier League are Man City and Liverpool. Why on earth would you not triple up on them? So yeah, I'm thinking now, my thought process is now tripling up on Man City and Liverpool and sacrificing somewhere else in my team. But again, the team up on the screen right now is just a standard team that I just did up the other day. But other news in the world of football at the moment. So we've got Steve Bruce. He's the new Newcastle manager. Be interested to hear people's thoughts on Steve Bruce being the new Newcastle manager. My opinion being is it's not that great. His record, I mean, this flaming Football 365 put out this wonderful, they always do these really amusing articles where it's basically stats which will either prove how good a particular person is or how bad a particular person is. In this case it was how bad Steve Bruce is, but the overall statistic, it seems that Steve Bruce likes to draw a lot of games. He doesn't win that many games in charge of teams, but he certainly loses and draws a lot. So I wouldn't be that confident as a Newcastle fan having Steve Bruce, and I'm fully aware that there's a lot of Newcastle fans out there that aren't happy anyway with this. Fabian Delph in transfer news, signing for Everton. How will that affect Everton's defence? You know, could be a really good option. Not to go with in fantasy football, but certainly for Everton, and maybe if Zuma doesn't end up going there, maybe he could potentially fill in as centre-back, or he'll be playing that defensive role along with Guy, who knows, or Gay, however you want to pronounce his name. Norwich signing Sam Byron from West Ham. Now, if you remember, Sam Byron, a few years ago, my understanding is he used to play for Leeds, and he was like this upcoming high quality championship player that did really, really well for Leeds, went to West Ham and never played for them. So that'll be interesting to see if Sam Byron fits into the Norwich team. I believe he comes in at 4.5. So maybe Byron, I mean Norwich, let's be honest here, Norwich's fixtures aren't exactly the greatest. In fact, I think they're atrocious. If we bring up Norwich now, we'll just quickly see what Norwich's fixtures are like. My basic understanding is that, because I remember a few years back that actually Byron was they haven't even added into the game. Would you believe? Brilliant. There's loads of players they haven't added to the game, and I don't even understand why they haven't. Like the most standout options are Batshuayi and Abraham. Well, the Premier League / the official game will know that those two players are at Chelsea. So why haven't you priced them up? It makes no sense whatsoever. And Sam Byron, again, he's in the West Ham squad. I've just had West Ham up there, but he wasn't there. So can't find out his price. I'm just going to assume he's 4.5. But yeah, Norwich's opening fixtures aren't exactly great, barring Newcastle at home in game week 2. There was also this talk the other day on Sunday evening regarding Harry Maguire to Man United. Was pretty much a done deal. It was £80 million. And all of a sudden it went completely quiet. And you think, what's going on here? And the news reports today are coming out that actually Man City are tabling a rival bid of 90 million. So Leicester have pretty much, or Harry Maguire, whichever one has come out and basically said he will be going to one of these two clubs. So basically it looks like it's going to be an auction between these two. If he goes to City, if he goes to United, is Harry Maguire then an option for you guys? Or do you think that no, if he goes to City, you don't know where he's going to fit in? Is he going to be first teamer ahead of John Stones or Laporte? If he goes to United, however, I think that he's an almost certain guaranteed starter. So is he an option for United if he goes to, obviously, Man United? Of course, there's Otamendi as well at City. So yeah, it's going to be a bit tough if Maguire goes to City, but certainly to United, I think that could be a really, really good option. I mean, if we look at United's opening fixtures, I mean, I saw someone say that they had a decent opening set of fixtures, and I was like, have they? I don't think they have, but let's just quickly look over Man United's fixtures. So Chelsea at home, yeah, we've all said this before, we'll say it a million times. It's going to be tough, that one. Wolves away, we all know what happened against Wolves last year. Crystal Palace at home shouldn't be too bad, although we all know Crystal Palace's away record is actually really, really good. Southampton, or is that Bournemouth? Southampton away, and yeah, they're not that inspiring to me. And yeah, I don't think Maguire is an option per se. But yeah, they're the most recent breaking news stories, or news stories over the past 24, 48 hours. What are your thoughts on all of that? So, Steve Bruce being named the new Newcastle manager, Fabian Delph, Sam Byron going to their respective clubs in Everton and Norwich. Haller looks like he's signed for West Ham United. Again, to remind you, last season he got 15 goals and 9 assists for a team that finished 7th in the Bundesliga. And the news about Harry Maguire, that he looks like he will be going. It's just a question of, will it be United or City? So before we start, I want to give a shout out to Alex Vola, who has recently been coming into the Discord community, and from my basic understanding is that he is a bit of a graphic designer. Maybe that's his job. So yeah, Alex Vola, VOLLO in the Discord group if you don't know. And he came up with the thumbnail. He came up with the one that's up there now. He's also given me another thumbnail. I don't know if that will be used or not, but yeah, he came up with that, and I am really happy with the work he's done. We spoke privately. I put him in contact with Jason. Him and Jason have been exchanging ideas and stuff, and that's why we've got, well, basically, as you've all been seeing in the Discord group, a brand new Twitter header. As you can see with the thumbnail and everything, before we started, that thumbnail he originally created. Again, he created me another one. And in fact, you know what? I'll bring up that other one actually, because it's a lot more better, to be honest with you. In fact, I think it's absolutely sublime. So if I just quickly bring that one up. Let's just close that one down. I'll just bring up Discord so you guys will be able to see what I'm looking at here. So yeah, look at that. That's the thumbnail that Alex wanted me to use. Now, I think that I can't use it unless I put it through this website which I was creating the thumbnail, which I say creating, I was just stealing Jason's stuff and just editing it myself. But that's the one that Alex come up with just a few minutes ago and said hopefully that'll be in time for your stream today. But I just think that all credit to Alex there, I think is absolutely superb. Absolutely fantastic. And like I said, Jason's in contact with him at the moment, and they're coming up with ideas on how to improve the various graphics for, well, basically the thumbnails and various other things that you'd use graphics for, i.e. the website, the Twitter page, Instagram, etc, etc. So yeah, thank you Alex there for all that. Let's go into chat. Let's see what's happening. Let's see who's here. Let's start chatting with people. Just to make you aware as ever that if anybody wants to come on the live chat and talk all things fantasy football with me, you're more than happy to in the Discord group. Just stick your name in the Hangout section and we will come to you, or I can come to you when I can. If you want to rate my team live on air, just let me know in chat, and make sure that the team has been posted in the Rate My Team as recently as possible so that it's a lot more easier for me to access, basically. But yeah, other than that, good morning, of course, FPL Booner, Aussie Boy FPL. I've seen you in the chat. I think you are wanting to come on live on air, so if you want to put your name in the waiting room, you carry on, mate. One Life Soccer TV, good morning. Super Bros basically saying the thumbnail is on fire and really liking it. I completely agree with you then, along with FPL Booner, of course. Kieran H, can't believe it now. I don't have to stay up till 4 a.m. to watch the stream. I've been up since 2:30 this morning, and I was actually seriously thinking of doing a stream then, and that's not even a joke. But obviously I didn't, and I was originally going to do a stream at 8 o'clock in the morning, but by the time I got back from whatever I was doing, I just thought, no, I was going to relax for a few minutes and eat a bit of food, and then come live on air at 10 o'clock. I'm probably only going to go on until about 12. But it's all down to the content that you provide me. If there's no content you guys provide me, I can't talk that much, so that means that I'll be cutting the stream short. If you want me to talk, if you've got subject matters you want me to cover, or you want to come on the show and make the show yours, you carry on, do whatever. But I'm planning on ending this at 12, but we'll just see how the stream goes per se. Brett Mollison in chat, welcome there. Vince Chapman, Resi Dezel, good morning to you all. It's fantastic. FPL Booner, you carry on. If you want to upload the template team into the Discord, you carry on, my friend. Vince Chapman saying, anyone skiving off work to watch this? I doubt it. What I will say is that I'll tell you why I'm doing this, if I'm honest with you. This morning when I woke up, I straight went to the subscription bit on my YouTube. I went to the subscription bit on YouTube, and I basically was like, there's no FPL content to listen to. And if I'm thinking like that, how many other people are thinking like that? So I just think, do you know what? There is bound to be at least a minimum of one person out there that tomorrow morning will wake up and be like, in fact, I know there's one more person, because I know there's quite a lot of you that actually wake up and tell me that you're really happy that there's a stream to listen to. But point we're standing is that how many more people are out there that wake up thinking, oh, there's no content to watch? Oh, well, I'm happy to provide that content, to be honest with you. And like I say, I just love the interaction with you guys. I really think it's enjoyable. This Discord phone-in is absolutely brilliant. I thought the 3 hour 15-minute show I did predominantly with FPL Booner and special guest Notorious Nerd. I mean, I don't want to keep banging on about it, but there was an absolutely fantastic moment during that specific stream where so Notorious Nerd goes under the name on Discord as NN, and when NN brought up his team on screen and wanted to chat about it, my instant thought was, oh, a Giroud owner. And I mentioned it live on air. I'm just saying like how one of our regulars, Notorious Nerd, would absolutely love the fact that you got Giroud in your team and everything, blah, 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 blah. And then during it, because Notorious Nerd seems like such a humble guy, he just basically said that he was Notorious Nerd. And there's just this wonderful moment of just like realisation of like, oh my God, I'm actually speaking to Notorious Nerd, the guy that I see everywhere across every form of FPL live stream platform content that's made. So yeah, it was fantastic, and for the feedback I got for that was just incredible, and I just can't believe that you guys stick through. I mean, there's obviously people here right now, and I cannot thank you enough for joining me, and there will be people in this chat that will stay here to basically the 2-3 hour mark, and it's absolutely phenomenal that you guys do this. I also think it's absolutely amazing that you guys watch it on the replay. I think it's absolutely awesome, and the fact that you listen to the whole show is just absolutely absurd. What I will say is that, I'm not going to lie, there have been a few not quite negative comments. Negative is a very strong word. More constructive criticism comments. I'm not going to name the individual, and I'm really annoyed that they're not in Discord because I wanted to chat with them. But there was an individual that put up a really interesting comment in the stream the other day, and basically they simply said that I love the live streams, etc., etc., but I'm a bit, worried about this Discord chat and everything. I get the idea of it and everything, but it just doesn't feel like there's something about it that doesn't seem right. If the person that's if the person that's watching this now, or even on the replay, knows who I'm talking about, and Daily Llama, you did speak to this individual, then if you could just send us a private message via Discord, Twitter, Instagram, and get in contact with us, and it'd be really, really, really genuinely interesting to hear your thought processes on this whole Discord live chat on here, basically on this live stream, because we are fully aware there are a couple of bugs that need to be sorted out, but we need to hear from you guys specifically what these bugs are, so then we know where to correct it to make everything a lot more easier to follow next season when we take this live. At the end of the day, these are just pre-season testers, and the majority of it, I would say about 90% of the content that's being produced through this Discord live has been absolutely fantastic. So yeah, anybody that does, like I said, I keep saying this all the time, anybody that does want to give us feedback regarding your observations or concerns regarding our podcast streams, whatever you want to call it, please let us know via Discord private message, Twitter privately, or Instagram privately, obviously, and we'll be more than happy to chat with you. I noticed Phil Potter was in there, and he was somebody that wrote a lovely message to me on YouTube the other day. So good morning, Phil Potter there. Clement LaRue, of course, is in chat. Well done there. Phil Potter saying that Nasty Balls, welcome to the stream, my friend. Phil Potter said, I gave you a shout out on my old friend's Instagram page to try help you get to 1,000. Yeah, we're not that far away from 1,000 subscribers. We're 74 away from 1,000. And then, of course, when we hit 1,000, that means we can do live streaming via our mobile phones, which is pointless now because we do this all from our laptops and we've got a microphone set up and everything. But there are occasions where I'm out and about around London, and I think I'd love to do like an impromptu advert for something, or just do something live on my mobile phone and interact with somebody while doing it live on YouTube, but unfortunately we can't. Anyhow, Aussie Boy making a point that Inter Milan have made a £75 million bid for Lukaku. Well, what could that mean for Marcus Rashford? Does that mean he's number one? Does it mean that... I mean, we had Stein on, or Stein, however you want to pronounce his name, on the other day, and he actually had Martial in his team. So maybe Martial could be a potential option if, for example, he was to be put up front and he could be an out-of-position forward. Who knows? What are your thoughts in chat about Martial potentially being an out-of-position forward? Because like Stein said, and even Dan joined us briefly, that, like last season, Martial had a really good, was it the start or middle of playing for United? I mean, last season he scored 10 goals and got 4 assists in just 1,613 minutes. That's crazy. Could you imagine if he played the full season and just did exactly the same output? That's 20 goals and 8 assists. And of course there's talk about Sanchez, 7 million. Can't quite see it, but there's been a lot of talk about him being a potential option. Yes, thank you. About Sanchez being a 7 million out of position option. Thoughts on Sanchez? I know everybody's just going to say nope, waste of time, and I completely agree. But if Lukaku does go, will Solskjaer just solely play Rashford at 8.5, or will he use the options of Sanchez and Martial as those strikers instead? So getting back to the chat, everybody. Geordie Kev saying that didn't even realise that the Bruce appointment was official. I'm pretty sure, yeah, they've been banging on about it on the radio, and he's supposed to be joining up with them in China or wherever you're playing, or he's missing out on China or something. But he's pretty much done, the Steve Bruce deal. Gabriel Derop asking, what are my price predictions for Haller? Well, I would assume based on his output with Frankfurt last year, based on Arnautovic's price, which was 7 million, and Chicharito at 6, I reckon he's going to come in at 7. He ain't going to be cheaper than 7. I can't see it. I reckon 7 would be a fair enough price, if I'm honest with you. I think that, and it's West Ham as well. I can't see anything there. Geordie, talking of Geordie, saying that will Delph be competition for Digne? Nah. Digne is the number 1 man at Everton. Vince Chapman, any news on Ake to City? Absolutely. I haven't personally seen anything. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't really keep up with transfer news and anything like that. It really doesn't interest me because half the time it's a load of nonsense. What I can tell you, talking of nonsense transfers, etc., is that, so Notorious Nerd actually had Sane in his team, and there was a lot of eyebrows raised, thinking, oh my goodness, Sane, why on earth would you have Sane for? Well, the news I read today is that Bayern Munich are not willing to pay the 100 million that Man City want for him. So it looks like Sane will be staying at Man City. He's 9.5. Chat, what are your thoughts on Sane? I mean, we all know what he can do, whether it's sub-appearance or not, whether he starts the game or not. We know what he can do. Last season, he got that many assists. Wow. 10 goals, 12 assists last year. And if I remember correctly, Sane did get a lot of double assists in games and everything. So maybe Sane instead of Kevin De Bruyne? Now, a lot of people will say, yeah, but Kevin De Bruyne is a guaranteed starter, Sane isn't. And that's very, very, very true. The Notorious Nerd, though, was pretty happy having Sane in his team. So, yeah, it looks like Sane is going to be staying with Man City. Yeah, One Life Soccer saying about Steve Bruce being an underwhelming appointment. I completely agree with you there. Chaban Morning All, welcome to this Elite FPL morning radio show. That's a point. So Gabriel Derop just mentioning Chelsea there. Well, I was reading today that basically, and even Dereco said it in his when he came live on air, but it looks like Emerson is going to be number 1 left back for Chelsea. So Emerson 5.5. I think that, again, people are overlooking Chelsea. I don't want to keep banging on about that point, but I think that Emerson at 5.5, getting in that top 4, getting into a top 4 team in that defence, I think is an absolute bargain. So potentially, actually, Emerson could be ending up in my team. What I'll do is I'll quickly check on the Discord group, see if anybody's in the live, what do you call it, wants to come on live, and away we go. So Aussie Boy's in the waiting room. What I will do is I'll stick the old headphones in like I keep saying, and basically we will get our first live caller on air, which will be Aussie Boy from, obviously, Australia. So Aussie Boy, good morning, Aussie Boy, are you there? Hello, Aussie Boy, are you there? What we'll do is we'll just quickly put him back in the waiting room. I think Aussie's on mute at the moment. I think he's muted his microphone. So basically, so for anybody that comes in live, make sure that you haven't muted your microphone and that you're going to be ready to. So when you do go in the waiting room, basically be prepared that you're almost certainly going to be coming immediately onto the chat, give or take, because you know it's just going to be really, really fun getting people on live rather than having just me speaking continuously. I just rather be interacting with you guys on this, this unique experience in which I get to speak with you guys, basically. One Life Soccer making a point. Everyone is just assuming Man City and Liverpool run away with the league again. Not FPL Booner. FPL Booner is one of the few people that are actually confident that he is a Tottenham fan, so maybe there's some bias there. No. I honestly think that, FPL Booner thinks that Tottenham could be challenging for the for number 1 next season. In fact, Booner's predicting they will end up second, which is really, really interesting. Obviously, Tottenham are an excellent team. They have done really, really well over the last few seasons underneath Pochettino, especially with the funds at their disposal, which is just non-existent. Well, due to the stadium build, but whatever. And yeah, could this be Tottenham season? They got their new stadium now. They've got Ndombele in. Keep Harry Kane fit. Maybe even keep Eriksen. Who knows? Marlos Solidis. What do you think if I started without Salah? Someone underneath, Gatam. Good morning, Gatam. Saying it'd be suicide. I don't know if it would be suicide per se. It goes back to Block FPL's video, doesn't it? The crowd, us, will be telling you not to do it, but you as an individual's thinking of doing it, and I'm assuming you'd have Sterling instead. So if you have Sterling instead, and you feel that Sterling can cover Salah's points, then why not? I mean, I've said before and I'll say it again, their fixtures are virtually the same, give or take. But Liverpool's are just easier. So reality is that I think that going without Salah is just extremely brave. Good luck to you if you actually do go through with it, is what I can say. Carl Kirsten, good morning, Carl. Any thoughts on Sane and Pogba as they look like they could be staying? We'd love to get Sane in over Sterling. We've just covered Sane. And if you feel that Sane is going to be a guaranteed star, it's all about checking out pre-season, then getting him over Sterling, why not? Why not? And maybe starting with De Bruyne, or maybe even just start with De Bruyne and then swap to Stane if he's starting to play. I think that's a decent plan. But again, it's that classic thing of if you feel that Sane is better value over Sterling. I mean, could you imagine the money that you could put into your squad with that 2.5 million? That 2.5 million can go a very, very long way, i.e. upgrading a cheap striker as an example. Phil Young there, good morning to you. Welcome to the morning radio live stream that I'm doing. Nice to have you with us. Mosty Man talking of Emerson. Is it just me or is Emerson the hidden gem this year? I agree. I think potentially if it does come out that Emerson is number one, which Lampard has basically said he is, then basically I agree with you. I think that Emerson is an unhidden gem. So Aussie Boy has said that he's ready to come live on air. He should be in the waiting. Well, he's not even in the waiting room.
Hello?
I've put him live on air. So Aussie Boy, are you there, my friend?
Yeah, I am. Hello.
Good morning. Welcome to the stream. Obviously, you're from Australia. Whereabouts in Australia are you?
Melbourne.
Melbourne, right. So if anybody's, I can guarantee that Brett Mollison's still probably watching this. I wonder if Brett's anywhere near. Have you spoke to Brett on this stream? Oh, sorry, in the Discord.
Yeah, I have. Well, when I first came on, it was about, I think, on the weekend. Because I've been watching you for about a couple of weeks, and I've got on the Discord, and yeah, he gave me a warm welcome because he was obviously up. It was in the middle of the night in England, so couldn't really talk there.
What time is it now over there?
It's 7:40.
7:40 in the evening.
Yeah, well, 7:39, but yeah.
Well, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. So what I've done is I've brought your team up on screen. Hold on a minute. Let me just what am I doing here? I've put it up in the Discord. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at it, and it'd be really cool to get your thoughts on why you've gone with this team, basically. So we've got Nick Pope in goal. Good lad. You've gone with Azpilicueta. That's a hidden gem that I think could prove us all wrong. Alexander-Arnold, Dina Zinchenko, Salah, Sterling, Fraser, Brooks, Jamie Vardy and Deulofeu. And of course on the bench it's your typical cheap... in fact, that's a question I want to ask. Your typical cheap sub. So why this specific team and what's your thoughts on Azpilicueta?
So for Azpi, I just think he's always been very consistent. So I feel like you can't really go wrong. Like we've seen lots of different managers, like under lots of different managers, he's been able to perform, and I feel like he's just solid option, and I think I can have him for the most of the season, if not all of it. So just a good option.
And you've clearly caught onto the what I call the Discord bandwagon of Zinchenko. You're pretty confident that Zinchenko's going to be a first teamer. Yeah.
Well, obviously there's that concern with Angelino or whatever his name is, but I still feel pretty confident because he entered the season pretty well, Zinchenko, and I feel like Pep has him in his good books. So hopefully he's a good pick. He's 1 million cheaper than Laporte, who I feel like would be the other option I'd go with, but other than that, it seems pretty good to me.
And interestingly, you've gone with the double Bournemouth midfield. What's the reasoning behind that?
Well, I feel like Fraser, it's he speaks for himself. He's a pretty good player. I feel confident that he'll perform again. But with Brooks, it's kind of a toss up between Tielemans and Brooks because I'm not really sure at the moment. At the moment, I've gone with Brooks. I prefer their early fixtures to Leicester, but at the moment, that's my thought. Like I'm not really 100% sure yet, unless I see. Obviously, if Tielemans proves me wrong, like in the preseason, maybe if he starts banging in goals and stuff, or getting lots of assists. But at the moment, I just prefer Brooks as an option.
And of course, up front, you've got Jamie Vardy and Deulofeu. You seem to be
Yeah.
putting your faith into Jamie Vardy. I'm not too confident with him for the opening fixtures anyway. I'm probably going to be completely proven wrong, but Delafeu as well. I'm just not a fan of him, full stop, but that's just me. Why these two up front?
Also, Vardy, I just think he's always been gonna be good. He will be good this year. Very consistent. He can score. Really have to worry about the fixtures, to be honest, for me, in my opinion. But and Delafeu, I really want at least one player in my team who's just gonna give me some like 20-point hauls that he can definitely do. We saw that against Brighton and all those teams. But also, I think people are overlooking the fact that he missed the first 8 game weeks last season. So I think he could have gotten up to even 150 points, 160 points, if he hadn't missed those games. So I think that's a key factor to take into your considerations.
So how long have you actually been playing the game for?
Well, I've had it. So this is like my 3rd year, but I didn't really do it properly. I feel like for the past 2 seasons, I kind of dipped midway through the season, came a bit back a few weeks later. I didn't really take it that seriously, but I feel like this year it's really interesting. I enjoy the Premier League, and I feel like FPL gives me a reason to follow the league. And because I'm a Liverpool fan, I only seem to be following Liverpool when I'm not doing FPL. But when I am doing FPL, I'm watching lots of different games and trying to follow all the teams, and it's much more enjoyable for me.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I got more into the Premier League thanks to fantasy football when I started this game. And I couldn't give a damn about the Premier League until, 2011, 12 is when I first started playing this game. And then I got more invested in it when I'm a Burnley fan, and when we got promoted back in the 2014-15 season under Owen Coyle. That's when I got more invested into the Premier League. Then we got relegated, couldn't give a damn about it. And then ever since we've been promoted back to the Premier League for the last 4 seasons, obviously I take it a lot more with a lot more interest and everything. And so how have your previous seasons been then, from a rank perspective?
Well, I'm not 100%. I think I finished around 100,000
Wow.
last season. The year before, I was just pathetic, like a million or something. I really wasn't good. But last year, like, I kind of kept coming on and off the game. But I finished strong. Like in the first 5 game weeks, I think I was actually top 5,000. I was pretty chuffed. But then I just slipped because I went away with my family, and then I couldn't really do it. And then I got back into it and finished the year strong. So I think 1,000 for your first kind of proper season is pretty solid.
I would say getting to 1,000 any season in this game is phenomenal. I mean, admittedly, you have to...
Oh, sorry, I meant 100,000.
Oh, 100... Well,
a bit of a difference there.
But based on...
I was the top 5,000 though for like the first 5 weeks, and then I just slipped after that.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to add to. I think if you were able to continue, if it wasn't due to family commitment or whatever, if you were to continue playing the game consistently throughout the season, do you think that next season you could potentially be in that top 5,000?
Hopefully. Well, I'm not sure. It depends. Maybe everyone in my team just flops, but I feel like I could definitely make a push for it. I would hope I could. But I feel like a lot of the game it's a lot of skill, but it's also a lot of luck. You have to get a bit lucky with some of the picks, and I feel like you need those, those maybe one of those breakout plays early on. But I feel like it's possible. I never write anything off. I could finish top. You never know, but I think I'd be happy in the top 30,000 maybe, to be honest, or 100,000 even, because there are awful lot of people who play this game. So
yeah, I mean, when you play this game, are you playing it for yourself? Are you part of, or do you play it because you're in mini leagues that you take seriously?
I always I love the idea of playing against lots of different people. Well, so it's a lot to do with the rank. I have a league with some of my mates as well, but I have like also I play a game. You know, Australian rules football.
Yes, yeah.
Well, there's a fantasy game for that, so I play that. I've been playing that for this season. I've played for the past three. I just didn't thoroughly enjoy the fantasy game in general. So I, no matter what sport, well, soccer is probably my second favorite sport, or even first favorite sport to follow. So just enjoy it.
Have you thought about, or have you even entered our cash mini league just of interest?
Well, so today I've actually done the form, but I haven't really got the thing where I pay and everything. But yeah, I'm.
Are you still there, Ozzy?
Oh, did I cut it out?
It's all right. It's all right. Because interestingly enough, we think that this cash mini league will make this Elite FPL podcast a hell of a more what's the word I'm looking for? More rivalry at stake. I think that with the amount of content that we're going to be producing, specifically around the cash mini league, competitive. That's the word. I think this season is going to be so competitive within this. I mean, I believe at the moment there's about 30 odd people in the cash mini league at the moment, and
yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and I think this season is going to be so competitive regarding this particular season, especially the fact that you're now part of this Discord group. I mean, I always keep asking people that are new to this stream and Discord and everything. I mean, how did you come across our channel, and what makes you keep coming back?
Well, so I started off like lots of people. I was following Andy from Let's Talk FPL, and he posts every few days, and one day I was just bored, so I was just looking for lots of different things, and I stumbled across yours, and I listened and watched it, and I really enjoyed it. So I subbed straight away, and then I went back, listened to a bunch of the other ones, and I don't know, it's just really enjoyable. The content's great. I love how there's this platform here, to be able to come on live and speak your thoughts. And because I haven't seen another channel where you have a platform to actually speak to the content creators and be able to actually voice your opinion as someone just part of the community.
Yeah, I think that's what makes this well, it's a totally unique experience, and the fact that we're able to chat to anybody from across the world is just insane. I mean, so looking at your team on here, a lot of people's eyes will be like, wow, you haven't gone double Liverpool defence. You've spread your players across 4 different teams in defence. So you're relatively confident with only having just Trent Alexander-Arnold?
Yeah, well, obviously I'm a Liverpool fan, so it's very hard because at the start of the year I tried to get as many in as I could just because I love the team, I follow the team, but I feel like if when you double up in defense, well, when you have 4 at the back at least, if your team, I'm just always so scared if they concede a late goal or something like that, then there goes your clean sheet bonus, which makes up a majority of your points as a defender. And I feel like spread it across 4 teams, which I have, I lower the risk by quite a bit of having that scenario. And I'd much rather, like, it could come back to bite me by not having the double Liverpool, because we've got such a good defense. How many clean sheets was it? Like 20 or something, but I'm not sure. I really feel like I need to spread it across teams, because if I go like too heavy on one team, then there it goes. If that team has a poor performance, because I remember this year with Liverpool in January, we had a little streak of pretty poor performances. That's, I think, what lost us the league. But I just don't like the idea of going too heavy in defense on one team. So I prefer to spread it out across different players who I think will perform.
So, how many, just of interest, how many drafts have you done for this particular season, or is this pretty much...
God knows how many. Every day I just tinker and tinker with my team, and I don't know.
Well, okay.
I've tried 5-2-3. I've tried 5-5, whatever it. All these different teams, and it's it's pretty crazy.
So,
how many?
Of your many drafts that you've done, who are pretty much the players that you stick with no matter what?
So there's Salah, I think. I've got. I think Trent is just a lock because I think he's completely nailed down now, and he'll play every game so that he's available for. So, that and his attacking return with the corners and the free kicks and everything. I think it's better than Robertson's. So I'd say Alexander-Arnold, Digne, Salah, Vardy recently. I haven't even thought of moving, and I think Pope, unless I go for a set and forget premium keeper, I think he's pretty nailed on for my 4.5.
You're not concerned about potentially Nick Pope not starting for Burnley? I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that Heaton looks like he's either going to be on his way, or Nick Pope will probably get the number 1 shirt back. You're not thinking of going with someone like, for example, even though I can't stand him, Matt Ryan for his good opening fixtures, or even someone like
the
Fabianski.
Aussie brother. I had him in at the start, but I've gone now. Like, I just feel like Nick Pope. I saw some stat if you put his last 38 games together, he would have had something like 150 points. And ever since, I'm very easily persuaded. So with all these stats and stuff, it's like, oh yeah, Kane he always gets 20 goals. Oh, I might get on that. And then I come back to earth and actually go with what I think. But Nick Pope, I think, Heaton's on his way out. I remember that season a couple of seasons ago. He's a beautiful shot stopper. But I feel like unless I see I don't really see rotation like what Joe Hart. I don't think he's a chance. Yeah.
I'll see. All I can say is, as ever, thank you for coming on the show. So you're obviously a regular in the Discord and everything. I'm taking it that you're really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's really fun because none of my friends really are into FPL, so it's great to find a community. Which that's also part of the reason why I kind of dipped in and out because no one really plays it. So it's great to find a community that has passion like I do for the game. So I always have someone to talk to about it.
That is fantastic. Well, we'll let you go. We've got someone else waiting in the chat, but that's been absolutely amazing speaking with you, and we'll definitely get you back on the show, mate.
Sorry, you cut out.
I was just saying that it's been great having you on the show, and we'll definitely get you back on another time whenever we're live on air, and you're more than happy to join us.
Yeah, thank you.
Brilliant.
It's great what you've done here, and I really look forward to, obviously, the live reactions in the games and everything will be great.
Cheers, dude. Speak to you soon, mate.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. There we are there. Regular contributor in the Discord group, Aussie Boy, joining us live. You saw his team. Let us know what you think in the chat. I mean, I actually quite like his team, to be honest with you. I think it's really, really good. I think there's not much issues with the team per se. If we just bring it up again. Right, there we are. If we just bring it up again for people to see on screen at the moment. You know, I do like the fact that he's going with 4 different teams in defence. Aspilicueta, again, as I mentioned, I think is a very, very solid pick. And it's the line that Ozzy said, which was his consistency. Completely agree with you there. Salah and Sterling is self-explanatory. It's just the Delafeu one. I mean, FPL Boona brought up the point the other day regarding... well, it was me that brought up the statistic, but FPL Boona backed it up by basically saying that Delafeu's points last season, about basically 50, 60, 70% of them were actually scored against Huddersfield and Cardiff only. So maybe a few concerns there. But overall, a really nice, well-balanced team. But this is an interesting subject matter to be bringing up, actually. And a lot of you guys, including myself, are going with a bench that is basically consisting of just one playing player in Dendoncker. Be really interesting to know your thoughts on, do you think this is a risky strategy or not? Because based on last season, that subs bench needed to be used. I remember, listening back to our old streams, and a lot of the time it was so-and-so didn't play and I got X amount off the bench. And I know for a fact that Jason had lots of points coming off his bench. Slightly different times last year, we actually had a better choice of substitutes to have. Off the top of my head, Wilson and Jimenez, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Ryan Bennett come to mind as 4 players alone that weren't exactly popular picks, but people were happy to put them on the bench, and obviously they did so well last year that you were pretty much getting points off the bench. This year, so far in the pre-season, everybody's going with, as you can see here on Aussie Boys team, it's Kelly, Dendoncker, and this Xander Silva of West Ham, and obviously the non-playing goalkeeper. Do you think it's a risk? That's what we want to know. And now I'm aware that Phil Potter put up his team in the, what do we call it? I'll tell you what, I'll try and find that. And I can see Stein. We were just talking about Stein a minute ago. If Stein's there, we'll get you live on air in a minute. We'll bring your team up. Stein's team's up there at the moment. And interestingly, this must be his 100th draft. He's dropped Martial. So what we'll do is we'll bring Stein live on air and let's see why he's gone and dropped Martial, but he's brought in poor Pogba. Hello, Stein, are you there? Hello, Stein, you're live on the Elite FPL morning radio show. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, how are you?
Very good, actually. And to be honest, I've dropped Martial and I've put Pogba in, but it was your stream that I offered you a knighthood. I'm not qualified to give you one though, but you definitely deserve one. So it was that stream that made me decide to get Salah in the team, and in order to do that, I had to lose a forward, and I figured, well, whatever forwards out there other than Kane and Vardy will outscore Salah. No one. So that's why Salah's in my team.
So alarm bells are ringing straight away when I see you've got Greenwood in your team here, and then obviously on the bench it's just Dendoncker, Diop, Rico, just all these non-playing players. Are you not concerned that your starting team is virtually 10 players?
Yeah, and I'm quite happy with that, to be honest. I know it sounds very strange, but Greenwood or Dendoncker will pick up a point, maybe 2 each week. I'm convinced of that because Greenwood will certainly be on the bench, and so will Dendoncker. Diop will play because he's West Ham's first choice centre back. So I'm quite happy with juggling those 3 players around as to who may play. But the 10, I'm really happy.
Yeah, obviously you've got 2 very heavy-hitting players in Kane and Salah. Do you not feel that that's going to cause everybody can say it about regarding Sterling and Salah, but potential headache for yourself when it comes to choosing your captaincy? Straight away I'm thinking Aston Villa at home for Kane is probably more tempting for me than Salah at home to Norwich as an example.
You're right, actually. However, I do believe that whereas Norwich are a very attacking team, they're going to be open at the back the first game. Tottenham I didn't realise this until just the other day, but they actually do start the season slowly, like not banging in a lot of goals. Whereas Liverpool, however, I think they're on cloud nine, certainly with that Champions League. And Mo Salah, he doesn't always do well for Egypt, but he certainly does well for Liverpool. So that's what's swayed my decision.
The one question I want to ask you is Paul Pogba. Why have you gone with Paul Pogba? And with news that Inter Milan have bid in a 75 million bid for Lukaku, and let's be honest here, it looks like Lukaku will probably leave this summer. Do you think that potentially opens up a space for Martial or Sanchez to be a false number 9 up top, or maybe even play alongside Rashford?
To be honest, the reason why I've gone for Pogba is simply because I listened to Solskjaer's interview this morning, and he said that he's got a front three which he wants to be fluid, i.e. playing James on one side, maybe down the middle, also Martial on another side, him down the middle, and Rashford. Now, based on that fact, the only person who feed those guys is Paul Pogba, in my opinion. Be wrong, but that's my opinion. Secondly, he's going to be taking penalties. If Dan James plays, he's very quick, possibly getting free kicks, maybe even getting penalties inside the box. Also, Martial, very tricky. Another person possibly getting penalties, which is what swayed me to get Pogba instead of Martial. Also, I could downgrade him and move and get another forward in. So it all depends on how the season goes, I guess.
What are your actual thoughts on Kevin De Bruyne then? Because obviously you've got him in his team, and there was a question that was asked the other day about can Kevin De Bruyne cover Sterling's points? What are your thoughts on that?
I think he can. Don't get me wrong. I think Sterling will score highly. I doubt that at all. You know, I mean, I have no doubt in that at all. However, De Bruyne did outscore Sterling when they were both playing in the team for a whole season. De Bruyne wasn't there last season. Well, not for majority of the season, I should say. And now he is. I think he can match Sterling, or certainly not be too far behind it.
Yeah, I mean, I had this team up on screen earlier on regarding me playing around with like a 4-5-1 formation. And I brought it up on screen now, and I'm actually seriously going with the thought of actually maybe having Sterling and De Bruyne. I mean, I brought it up earlier on, speaking of Sane. Do you think actually if Sane does not go to Bayern Munich, which it looks like is the case, do you think then that Sane could actually be a really good option instead of De Bruyne, or a better option than Sterling, which is what Aussie boy's doing?
To be honest, I'm convinced that Sane is not going to be a starter. I think he's going to be pushed towards the bench. I think Mahrez is going to start, whether he starts or not. But I think De Bruyne is the only Man City player who walks straight back into that team when he's fit. So that's my reason for De Bruyne. Obviously, if De Bruyne gets injured again, everyone is going to consider. But I'm not convinced Sane is going to be a starter.
Yeah, there is a lot of positivity surrounding Kevin De Bruyne at the moment, and it's one of those, isn't it, where is he a detrimental player to your team if it means that you have to stick with him throughout the whole season to benefit from most of his points? A bit like with Hazard. He's somebody that if you're going to bring him in, you just stick with him and you just do not remove. What are your thoughts on that?
Sorry, Steve. You broke up there. I missed the last what you said.
I was just making the point that do you feel though that having De Bruyne means that you have to stick with him throughout the whole season, just like you would do with when Hazard was in the Premier League? You'd have to, if you had him from game week 1, you just stick with him throughout the whole season and not get rid of him.
Absolutely, because I don't think anyone thinks that City will will do badly this season. Based on that fact, they're going to have their big hitters in. I mean, when you consider they only won the league by a point, I'm sure Guardiola's thinking, you know what, I actually want more from my guys. I want more from my squad. And this guy that they just bought, I think it's Rodri, I believe. He is more of a deep-lying midfielder, which should mean if De Bruyne is in the team, the guy who's going to be out of the team is probably going to be David Silva.
Mm. Yeah, David Silva last year was one of Jason's favoured players. In fact, David Silva did exceedingly well for Jason last year, and he was one of my Achilles' heels, so to speak. So I mean, you brought up Mahrez there. I mean, do you really think that Mahrez could be an option next season for not only fantasy football, but even Manchester City?
Yeah, definitely. I think Mahrez can definitely be an option. The thing is, everyone was absolutely surprised when I think he played the last game of the season, if I'm correct, and everyone was surprised that he got in the team. But there was obviously a reason behind it, and I'm believing Pep obviously believes he's improving slowly but surely. Because if I remember correctly, when their championship winning side at Leicester, Mahrez actually just really sort of stayed up the pitch and out wide. He never really came deep. Obviously, I know Man City's midfielders don't really drop, but he wasn't the guy that closed the ball down. He was the guy that was given the ball and asked to set the counter attack alive, so to speak. But in Pep's team, everyone has to close down the ball. Certainly, the front six close the ball, and I think it's taken him a bit of time to get used to that. And this season, I think he may favour him over for Son.
You've got Dunk in your team. Now, is this because of the news that he may be joining Leicester? Did you hear that, Stein?
No, I didn't. I could see your lips moving. I couldn't hear a word.
Sorry about that. Do you think that... Did you bring in Dunk because you're actually thinking that he may be joining Leicester? If Maguire leaves, of course.
Yes, absolutely. That was behind it. Lewis Dunk. To be honest, even if he stayed at Brighton, I think it would be a decent choice. However, him moving to Leicester, I think he's going to be better. So hope will work out well for him. But you never know until he kicks off.
Yeah.
You have all of these ideas and all of these thoughts. And like I say, first 4 game weeks go by. Why on earth has this guy only scored me 2 points the first? You know?
Exactly. I mean, before we let you go, you made a very, very funny point on the stream the other day. And it basically went along the lines of, not me, but we have seemed to have made you done about, like, obviously you were joking, like about 86 different drafts. Have you kind of calmed down with the draft making, or are you still daily changing your teams based on all the information that you're receiving? Did it cut out again?
Yes, you did. I mean, I got part of it. I mean, I think you was asking me if I calmed down with my daily drafts.
Yes.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have calmed down my daily drafts. However, this is my 107th draft. So, and I think I'm stopping here. I've only got, what have we got, 4 weeks to go before kickoff. So I'm going to try my best not to touch it. However, I can't promise.
What's, in all seriousness, what is the mainstay players in your team? Which players are just not leaving no matter what?
Certainly Kane, Salah, and De Bruyne. There's just no there's no movement on those guys.
So you're building your team around Kane, Salah, and De Bruyne. Now that's really, really interesting. That's certainly different from a lot of people.
Well, to be honest, I've looked at the top three, and when I say the top three teams who finished last season, in terms of De Bruyne, Kane, and Salah, and I've said these guys have to be in my team because those three teams will definitely finish in the top six. Those three guys will definitely score well for their teams. So for me, that's a no-brainer.
Brilliant. How do you want your name pronounced? Is it Stein or Steen, or do we want you to? Or are you okay for me to use your real name? If so, what is your real name?
No, you've been pronouncing it correctly from the get-go. It's Stein. Yeah,
Stein. Cool. And if that's how you want us to interact, that's brilliant. Stein, you've been a star. Yeah. Thank you for joining us.
Well, you could call me Steino, so I could join your club. So I don't mind that.
Brilliant. Cheers, dude. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Cheers,
bye.
Dude. All right, bye. And there was Stein there welcoming us. If anybody wants to join live on the show, you're more than welcome to. Just get on that Discord, get in the waiting room, and we'll bring you live on there. I had a request or a Rate My Team up earlier on from Phil Potter. I'll be more than happy to bring on Phil's team, as we can see here live on screen right now. So if you want to see what Phil's team looks like, just look at whatever platform you're watching this stream on. So it's going with a set and forget goalkeeper of Fabianski, liking that straight away. Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, Digne and Stacey. Ooh. De Bruyne, talking of De Bruyne, Sigurdsson and Fraser. Wow, look at this. King, Calvert-Lewin and Kane. And on the bench, oh my days, it's Azpilicueta, Yarmolenko and Jorginho. I mean, Phil, if you're willing to come live on air, I'd love to get your live thoughts on this team. But people in chat, I bet you are absolutely pulling your hair out looking at this team, because me personally, I'm looking at it thinking, what on earth is all this money being pumped into your substitutes? I mean, so we're going with a 4-3-3. There's no Salah. There's no Sterling. Quite clearly Phil's a bit of a punty manager. That's a P for anybody that's listening on MW. Going with Stacey, who FPL Booner thinks potentially could be a starter for Bournemouth, and if so, could be really, really good option. Although, me personally, I'm not a fan of Bournemouth's defence. De Bruyne obviously covering the Man City assets. I mean, Calvert-Lewin, I just, straight away, the alarm bells are ringing staring at him. I mean, I'd rather play Azpilicueta over Calvert-Lewin. Harry Kane in the team. I mean, at the moment as it stands, I mean, for all I know, this could just be just an automatic captain pick. But going with Ryan Fraser at home to Sheffield United. Yeah, Phil, if you're in chat and you want to come live on air, or you just want to talk on the chat itself, would be absolutely fascinating to see and hear your thoughts. But that is quite extraordinary. That there, I mean, that makes Stein's team look like a template. To be honest with you, I mean, even the Jorginho option. I mean, a lot of people are getting Jorginho, and just for the potential possibility that he'll be on penalties, and even then, he's going to be most people's fifth choice midfielder. Phil, it's an extremely risky strategy, but it could. Keyword being could pay off. To be honest with you. So Phil is talking in chat, and he's saying money is on the bench to save transfers in the first 2 to 3 weeks. Right, okay, so you're planning. That's good. That's good that you're doing planning ahead. I think that actually is something that a lot of FPL managers don't actually do. They don't seem to plan ahead. So I think good on you. I think good on you for being different, and it could pay off. A regular contributor and of course moderator of the Discord, Daily Llama, wants me to. I know he is definitely in the Rate My Team, because I just saw it a minute ago. But before we go to Daily Llama's team, I'll bring you up another regular contributor in John Magic. So John Magic, or John Harris, basically, he came in the top 1,000 last season, and it was his first ever season, and he came in the top 1,000. I think he ended up 700th, roughly. I'm sure he could correct me if he's still there in chat, but have a look at his team. What do you think? So we're going with the set and forget of Matt Ryan in goal. Van Dijk, Alexander. There's a theme with a lot of teams that I'm seeing now that's coming up, which is Alexander-Arnold, Digne and Zinchenko. Those three there seem to be the popular defensive triple up, if I'm honest with you. That seems to be the three that everybody that I've been looking at or speaking with seems to be going with there. So, and in midfield, Salah, Sigurdsson, De Bruyne. But impressively, or however you want to, whatever way you want to describe, McGinn of Aston Villa. A lot of talk about McGinn, but it's just the fact he plays for Aston Villa, just for me puts straight off. But up top, a heavy hitting attack, in my opinion, of Giroud and Kane. And obviously Notorious Nerd made some very, very interesting points about Giroud. The main one basically being that, let's be honest here, he is a top striker, playing in a top 4 team. He should be their main man. Although, interestingly, in a friendly yesterday, in a 4-4-2 in Lampard's, in the first half, my understanding is Lampard went with the 4-4-2, played Batshuayi and Abraham up top, and said that that's what he likes in his strikers. Speed and just getting around the pitch and everything, and just basically being quick and everything. And then, but they did nothing. Second half, in another team, for Chelsea, Giroud played up top on his own and he got 2 goals. Or 2 assists. It was 2 goals or 2 assists. Read into that what you will. But Giroud and Kane, I love the Kane option. I think we've said it a million times. Kane has been overlooked. A lot of people are saying, well, he's got City next. Is that really such a problem? I think I can see that being quite a high scoring game personally. So yeah, I think John Harris there has gone with some differentials there. No Sterling, but he thinks that I saw him in the chat a minute ago, and feels that De Bruyne can actually cover Sterling's points. What are you thinking, chat? So I know Daily Llama asked me to look at his team, and I'll be more than happy to look at his team. I'm pretty sure it's towards the bottom of the Discord Rate My Team, if I'm honest with you, because I'm pretty sure it come up. Oh, there it is, there, underneath Steam. So Daily Llama's team, again, regular contributor and one of the moderators for our Discord chat and on YouTube. Wow, going with a 4-3-3 formation. Another one with De Bruyne. So heavy hitting goalkeeper in Ederson. I mean, it's one where you're just basically guaranteed getting clean sheets, give or take. Obviously, the double up in Van Dijk and Robertson. Doubling up with Ederson, with Laporte, Lewis Dunk. I'm assuming based on the fact that he'll be potentially joining Leicester. Perez. Interesting punt there. De Bruyne, Salah. And another team that has Harry Kane in it. So Harry Kane, Josh King, and Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, it's one of those where you look at it and you think it's the Kane, Kevin De Bruyne, and Salah treble up. And this is my point. If I bring up the team that I've just put together, not I've just, but the team that I actually have just messed about with. And it has 4 heavy hitting players in Salah, Sterling, De Bruyne and Kane. And yeah, I mean, going on what a few people are thinking at the moment, it seems that actually Kane is appearing in quite a few teams, and maybe people are starting to come round to the fact that, hold on a minute, Kane is an absolute top striker. Why on earth would I overlook him for? It's a very good point. You just see there this, because the idea of my team, well, like I said, it's just a mess about. It's nothing like serious or anything. But the idea behind it would be playing a 4-5-1. And yeah, it looks alright, doesn't it? I think maybe get rid of Dendoncker, put in Charlie Taylor instead, and have it as a 5-4-1. And you look at that and you think, well, actually, you're covering Man City, you're covering Liverpool, you're covering Tottenham with their main man, the players that you've brought in from those three respective teams. I mean, based on Boona's predictions, I would have thought that he's thinking Man City, Liverpool, Tottenham this year as the top three. Well, I've got their main players within this team. So actually, when you look at that, you think, it makes a bit more sense. But again, guys in chat, what do you think? So going back to Daily Llama's team, I'm liking it, Llama. I just think, like I say, it's different. It's unique. I think that it's certainly worth punting on for the first couple of game weeks. See how it goes. Like looking at your team here, you've got your heavy hitting defenders / goalkeeper from like two of the best teams in the Premier League. You've got the key man from Man City and De Bruyne, their most creative player. Salah, of course, you've got covered. Kane in the main as one of your main strikers in the team, which basically builds around him. Yeah, really, really like it. I think it's okay. I think for now, sit back, relax, and just have a cup of tea, so to speak. So there's quite a few people actually in chat asking me to check out their teams in Discord. So I'll tell you what I'll do. What I will do is this. I will go through each of the latest teams that have been brought up in Discord, and we'll just take it from there. So really, I'm assuming then, for anybody that's watching this live, and you're asking me to rate your team, it's obvious that you've just recently put your team up in Discord, and straight away I can see Daily Pool has put up his team, so I'll bring that up in a second. But what I will say is that if you are enjoying this stream, just simply hit the like button. In fact, do you know what? I'm going to show you guys that I'm going to hit the like button while doing this. So let's bring up this is probably going to affect the end. But yeah, if you hit the like button, if you haven't subscribed but are enjoying the content that us guys are producing, please just simply hit that subscribe button. But more importantly, hit that notification button, because once you hit that notification button, that means then that you'll know when we're going live. So I'm going to hit the old like button. There we are. Done. It's as simple as that, really. It'd be really, really cool. I mean, there's 63 people watching this right now. If all 63 of you just simply hit that like button, it would be absolutely fantastic. But anyway, straight to what we'll do is we'll just bring up Daily Pool's team. Let's see how it's going. And if you're on Twitter, why not tweet out that you're watching the Elite FPL morning radio show using the hashtag Elite FPL Radio, and tweet out that you're live on air with me. In fact, if anybody wants to come live on air, you're more than welcome to. All you've got to do is go into the Hangout section, and I'll be more than happy to speak to you and about anything, all things fantasy football. So let's bring up Daily Pool's team, or Dally Pool. Here we go. Ooh. One name sticks out straight away. So we're going with, this is different. This is a bit different, isn't it? So Edison in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Laporte, Robertson. I like that core 4 backline straight away. And then, haven't seen this in anybody's team whatsoever, Matt Ritchie, probably going to be playing out of position for Newcastle on all set pieces. I think that's a bit of a gem there. Although Newcastle fixtures, probability of Steve Bruce being in charge, like I said, the fact that it's Newcastle is a bit off-putting, but I think it's nice to have a differential. And certainly, again, Matt Ritchie, he does bring in the points, so not a bad punt at 5.5. Digne. Midfield 3 of Sigurdsson, Salah and Milivojevic. Again, another player which people just... Jason always kept banging on about the fact that last season that everybody's going to be choosing Milivojevic in their team, and the simple answer is, no, they're not. With the effect of VAR, obviously. No one's choosing Milivojevic whatsoever. So, they're all going with, if they are going with a Crystal Palace player, it's Zaha. And then a front two of Danny Ings. Oh, I don't like that at all. And Harry Kane. Danny Ings, Southampton. He's a goal scorer, obviously. It's just his fitness. The fact that he plays for Southampton. Southampton's fixtures, if we bring them up, are... They're awful, if I'm honest with you. They're really, really bad. I remember looking at them thinking, no, not for me, I'm afraid. I think that Southampton's fixtures are just avoid like the plague. But again, it's something different. I have not seen Danny Ings' name mentioned in anybody's teams whatsoever. And it's a brand new season. We don't know how teams are going to start. I mean, to be honest with you, Burnley away isn't actually that bad a fixture. Then, of course, Liverpool at home. Well, a bit of an interesting fact, if you remember. So, Man City won 6-1. Who scored the Southampton goal? Yep, Danny Ings. So, Danny Ings getting the goal there for Man City. And then, of course, so they're at home to Liverpool, and then away at Brighton. That's not too bad. Man U at home, not too bad. So actually, maybe Dally Pool is onto something here. Maybe Danny Ings could be an option. I mean, he's 6 million, and based on your team, looking at it, oh, you're doing what a lot of people are doing. I see you're going with a bench of non-playing players. See, this is my issue. Unless you played Dendoncker, of course, in the quote-unquote easy fixtures, but he's not exactly the main man for Wolves, is he? So yeah, it's different, isn't it? It's looking at what we've just looked at. Actually, Dally Pool, it'd be interesting to see how many drafts you've done. Yeah. I really think it's good. It's just nice seeing differential teams, to be honest with you. You know, it's one of those where if everybody's going with the same team with these community creator areas, that it's just going to get really, really boring. So maybe Daily Pool's ahead of the crowd and onto something here. So let's see what the next team is down. So again, if anybody's in Discord and wants to join me live on air, you're more than welcome to. There's nobody in the waiting room at the moment. If you want to come live on air, I'll be more than happy to bring you on, speak to you about all things fantasy football. So, Paul Gray, name of the Slipknot bassist. He passed away now, but Paul Gray's team up on at the moment. So let's go and see what we think of Paul Gray's team. Oh, he's gone with Ake. So at the moment he's going with Ryan, Laporte, Van Dijk and Ake in a 3-5-2 with, talking to Zaha, Sigurdsson, Fraser, Sterling, Salah, Delafeu and King up front. And then, well, it's other than Dunk, which isn't a bad first choice substitute to be having, actually. Obviously, your midfield is basically based on players which are key, the most creative players for their teams. You've got the Salah and Sterling double act. You know what? Again, I like it. It's different. It's a bit unique. You're going with a lot of players which are guaranteed starters for their team. Yeah. Paul Gray. I think you're on to a winner there. On to FPL Outlaw. So FPL Boone are replying saying it's a nice team there. And we're going with a 4-4-2. And it's Lloris in goal. So he's heavy hitting premium goalkeeper. Then we're going with Robertson, Laporte, Wan-Bissaka and Coleman. De Bruyne, Salah captain. Oh, it doesn't really matter about Salah captain. Salah, Pereira, Sterling. I went into automatic mode then. Sterling captain. Sterling. And then King and Jota up front. And then on bench, again, one playing midfielder only. But covering a lot of bases there. I'm liking the differentials in Lloris, Wan-Bissaka. Pereira's an interesting one. Although from a lot of fans, Watford fans' perspective, he's a very, very frustrating player. So maybe somebody to look at and maybe bring in someone else. But the front two, yeah, it's about as template as you can get, really. So we've got a couple of people in chat, and it was Andy that came up first. So what we'll do, so to Andy and Kev Huntley, make sure that you're turn the sound off on the stream or paused it, anything, and we'll get you live on there in a few seconds. If I'm sure I saw your names on. In fact, seeing as I'm here, I can get Kev Huntley on straight away because his team's the one next down. So Kevin Huntley, I'll be bringing your team up any second now, and you can join me live on air to discuss your team. So, Kev Huntley, are you there? Hello, Kevin, are you there? The wonders of live.
Hello.
Hello there, you okay?
All good, mate. Yourself?
I'm very well, thank you. So, we've got your team up on stream at the moment. You said it's your second draft. Ah, interesting.
Of the stream. It's the second draft of this live stream. It's already changed in the last 45 minutes.
So the first instant question with that is, why have you changed it within the space of such a short time?
What did I do? I pulled out King to strengthen the midfield and add Pulic, because just a little talk at Chelsea in the chat, there was a lot of people saying, which I know there's a lot of value in the whole squad, really, isn't there? And I couldn't afford to have Wilson, and I don't like the idea of just settling for King, as a cheaper option. I'd love Wilson, and if I can't have Wilson, I feel like I'm better off not going for the King and strengthening somewhere else. Because I had Wilson a lot last season, and he did us really proud, bagged us loads of points. So, and I never went with King, and I had friends that had King, and he trolled them, and I just remember that. So if I can't afford Wilson, I'm not going to bother with King, and that's why I was fiddling around and seeing who was around that 7.5, 8 million. Yeah.
So at the moment on your second draft of this stream, it's a 4-5-1 formation. So it's Nick Pope. Oh, you're doing I'm assuming then. So with Ryan on the bench, you're going with a rotating pair then.
Yeah. If you can remember, I spoke to you on the
Yeah,
last
I
one of the
remember.
last.
Yeah.
I was rotating Taylor as well as Dunk, and
That's right.
I
Yes,
got
yes.
I got itchy feet about it. I got itchy feet because I'd yeah, a few people put doubts in my mind, so I've got no problem switching the keepers for the favourable home fixtures, but the thought of doubling up, on Brighton and Burnley, it just something changed in the past couple of days where I didn't quite fancy it. So so I went back to doubling up on Liverpool. I went back with Trent and Virgil, Van Dijk, Digne, and Zinchenko, I think it is at the minute, which I'm happy with. Even more so now that it just seems Mendy's drifting further afield. He hasn't travelled, etc. So Zinchenko's, I think my back four's nailed on absolutely. Digne, Trent, Virgil, and Digne or Zinchenko. I think that'll not change at all, which is good because I can stop
Seems I
meddling.
writ it down earlier on. It does seem that a lot of people are going with this triple up of TAA, Digne, and Zinchenko. I mean, I see the logic in it. So you're pretty happy then. I think. Do you reckon as a whole we could pretty much say that Zinchenko is virtually, as it stands right now, a nailed option at Man City?
Yeah, you'd have to, wouldn't you? I know they've brought the young lad back from PSG, is it?
Yeah, Angelino. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, pre-season but maybe the later pre-seasons because Pep likes to rotate during a Premier League season, so we all know what he's like pre-season. But because he started the last 14 games of last season while Mendy was fit as well, and I think City won all of them. So, like, he's in form, he's in favour, he's fit, he's travelled. So I think he's as nailed on as you can get in that back line, apart from Laporte.
So you said your back four is pretty much settled. You don't think you'll be tinkering much with that. So it's really then your attack force of 5 midfielders and a striker. I mean, what's your thoughts on punting on Pulisic then?
I don't know. As soon as I heard Lampard got the job, all them, the whole Chelsea team looked a bit different. Do you know what I mean? As soon as he was appointed, you know what it's like having a legend come back, and the positive impact they can have. So
Didn't happen with Shearer though, but
no, you're right. But it did in short term. Do you know what I mean? I was there in the stands when Ashley brought Keegan back the second time, and it's just that instant. And I'm personally just looking at the first 4 games because I always wild card early, so I'm just looking 1 to 4. So if they're gonna get the Lampard effect, bar the Man U game, the other 3 are pretty good. So I'm not going to lose that much ground if a couple of these punts go left. So and it's a punt because I had Willian and Pedro here and there, and once again the rotation and sharing minutes, 60 minutes, and one gets 30. That was a pain in the butt. So but he's got to be the main man. Like from what I'm reading on Chelsea forums and Twitter and that, he's being touted as the Hazard replacement somewhat. So at 7.5, yeah, I'll have to watch him.
7.5, is he? Wow.
Yeah, which is cheap, isn't it? For what we were paying, he's not going to be Hazard, but yeah, he is 7.5. So
you're not concerned about the amount of goals that he got last season in the Bundesliga, which was only, I think, 4. I mean, that straight away tells me, if you're not getting that many in the Bundesliga, whereas this Haller that signed for West Ham, that played for Frankfurt, scoring 15 goals and getting 9 assists, I'm thinking, hold on a minute here, this is maybe somebody to look at.
Oh, really? No, that's good. I hadn't even seen that transfer come in, to be honest. So that's That's one I'll definitely look into. But honestly, like I say, that was the second draft of this stream, so that wasn't a well thought out plan. But I do just like having some Chelsea coverage in there. Do you know what I mean? Because someone's going to have to be involved in. I do think they'll get a good start of the season. I think people
agree.
are writing off Man U, and then writing off Chelsea and Arsenal, and I think all three of them could get off to solid starts. Do you know what I mean? So I would like cover. That's all.
We were just discussing with Stein a minute ago, but I was just bringing the point about Harry Kane. What are your thoughts on Harry Kane?
Harry Kane was in my first draft, so I would have made that yesterday, and that was the first time I had Kane in. And it was just the two home fixtures. You know, I think they've got Villa at home, and then they've got us. We've got Newcastle in the third game, and you can't not see Spurs not drilling Newcastle and Villa at home. So, but then I'm hearing other people talking and how he didn't look himself towards the back end of last season. And, you know, he's playing a bit more deep, and that's why I tried to incorporate Moura there in one of my drafts just while Son's out, because as soon as Son's back, he's me go-to. You know, I got all of his big runs last season. Brought him in the right time, and I transferred him out just before he went on his little dip. So once Son's in, he's in my team. He's just a FPL beast. So, but for the first two games where he's suspended, I like Lucas Moura. You know, we've seen him have get sporadic hat tricks, and like he's an explosive player. So yeah, I would like some Spurs coverage, but it's just working it out, isn't it? There's so many options, but that's why I quite like this 5-man midfield. Up front, I'm struggling. Do you know, like Vardy for me is nailed on, but apart from him, like I would never stretch to Aguero. You know, with Jesus getting the number 9 shirt and talk about.
I wouldn't be worrying about that. I think I wouldn't.
Aguero
is number one, without doubt. Aguero is number one. I think that because of Sterling, Kevin De Bruyne, potentially Sane, the fact that we're all lumping onto Laporte, Zinchenko, Edison, that's the reason why people aren't interested in Aguero, because he's just so much money. But I think Aguero, without fail, is number one at Man City. Without fail, mate.
But he's the same price as Kane, is he not? Are they both 11 million?
Aguero's 12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
These are the extra mil, right? So that'll be another reason why you're not seeing him pop up as well. But yeah, it's just like you say. There you go. Like Aguero's maybe a bit too steep with all the other assets. You know, Kane, it is an option, but Aubameyang, there's not that much premium, to be honest. That's really drawn us to it, but that's why I just thought I'll go with Vardy. He's nailed on. I'll not go for King as a substitute for Wilson because I can't afford him, and I'll just have a stacked midfield. And to be honest, I think I will probably stick with that 4-5-1, unless someone looks absolutely on fire pre-season. Like if Kane's, you know, coming into the first game on fire, it would have to be looked at. With Villa and Newcastle at home, them 2 games alone could net you monster scores.
Kev, you're breaking up, mate. So what we'll do is we'll end it there. But I can only thank you enough for coming on live on the show, mate. Really appreciate it. And yeah, there it is. There it is, it's gone. Just as I mentioned about breaking up, that's when he ended the stream. It's typical, isn't it? Typical life. But we all heard Kevin, in all seriousness, we all heard Kev Lee Hunt's points there. It was really great for him to be brought on. Now, we have Andy9098 in chat, and I remember having him on the air the other day, and we'll bring up his team in a second. So, Andy, you're coming live on air in 3, 2, 1. Andy, are you there, mate? Hello, Andy. You are live on the FPL radio show. Are you there, my friend? No, Andy's not there. Fair enough. What's everybody's thoughts in chat then about Aguero? I mean, are we overlooking him ahead of for a player like Sterling? I mean, the obvious answer is yes, of course we are. Don't be so stupid, Steve-O. We all know what Sterling can do. But Aguero, 12 million, same price as Sterling. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I wouldn't even consider bringing in Aguero. But, I mean, I remember last year, it was quite literally, my biggest problem was always choosing between which to have as a captain. Is it Sterling or Aguero? And don't get me wrong, Sterling was always that right captain. But Aguero, the numbers speak for themselves. Each season virtually getting 20 goals a season. Last year, 21 is most productive when it comes to assists, getting 11 assists. But as someone's just mentioned in chat, it's down to the fact, Mr. Kimmy making the point that at the end of the day, yeah, exactly, Mr. Kimmy, making the point that at the end of the day, midfielders get more points than strikers. So I completely agree with you on that point. Now, we've got someone else in chat here, and I know for a fact that... Let's try Andy one more time. So if Andy's still there, let's just try Andy one more time. So if Andy's there... Hello, Andy, are you there?
Hello, Andy, are you there?
Hi. How are you, Steve?
Andy, I just had to put you in the waiting room. If you could just turn the stream down... or just put it on mute, turn it off, do anything with the stream, but make sure that you're not listening to the stream back through your format you're listening it through. Just listen to the stream, listen to me through whatever device you're actually using to hear my voice. So what we'll do is we'll just bring you back in a 3, a 2, a 1. Hello, Andy, are you there?
Hello, Andy, are you there?
Oh.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here now. Hello?
Are you able to turn down your stream, mate?
Oh yeah. Okay. it's all gone wrong, and it's not good. So you can hear me. Hold on.
I can hear you now. It seems.
Oh,
wait a minute. No, you need to turn the stream down.
Okay, put me back in the waiting room. I'll sort it out.
Yeah, not a problem at all.
Not a problem at all.
Alright.
This is back in the waiting room, so there's no feedback on there at all. So let's just quickly see what people are saying in chat. Let's find out there's a lot of talk going on here. It's all just... Thank you for joining me, by the way. Again, as ever, if you're enjoying the stream and you want to show your support, just quite simply hit that like button. It's quite simple. Graham Barker there. Welcome, Graham. Steve, what is wrong with Aguero in my team? I haven't even seen your team, so I can't really comment on your team per se. Let's see if Graham Barker's team is actually there, and we'll find out. Obviously, he's quite clearly got Aguero in his team. Hopefully, he's put it up recently. Blimey, there's hundreds. If you want to put your team up in the Discord, Graham, then it would be the latest team up there. But what we'll try and do is... But I've got nothing against Aguero, like I said. He's an absolute top quality fantasy football asset. It's just his price, because he's the same price as Sterling. And the fact that, of course, whatchamacallit, because he's the same price as Sterling, we all know how many points Sterling gets. So let's bring Andy back into the chat. Hopefully, Andy, you've turned the stream down and we'll be able to hear you. Andy, are you there, mate?
Yeah,
that's much better. Much better. Okay. More coherent. So we've got your team up on the screen at the moment.
Yeah.
We had you on the show before. Now, I'm going to be honest. Obviously, I can't remember what on earth your team was back then. But if you want to go through your team now, and what draft is this?
I don't know. It could be draft 100, but it has sort of. I've stopped changing it, so I think this is probably the team I'll go with unless there's any significant transfer news.
So right now, the team up on screen is the team that you think will be the team that starts game week 1.
Yeah.
Wow. So people listening on audio, it's Pope in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Coleman, Walker and Zinchenko, Sigurdsson, Sterling, Salah, Fraser, Wilson, nice, and Billy Sharp. So what makes you confident with this team for game week 1?
Backline has some really good fixtures to start off. Norwich at home, Crystal Palace away, West Ham away for both City defenders, and they beat West Ham at 4-0 each season when they're away to West Ham. So that makes sense. Again, Sigurdsson, really good fixture. Sterling and Salah are no-brainers because they just bring in the points. Fraser, Wilson are against Sheffield, and I think they will score. And Sharp is my budget level, save an extra 0.5 mil.
How much is Billy Sharp?
He's 6.
Have you not thought about McGoldrick of Sheffield, his striking partner?
I've looked at both of them, but I just is more likely to start based on the transfers that Sheffield have done.
Right, okay.
I have some stats to back up Billy Sharp because I know I'm going to get flack for it like I did the last time. So at the start of last season in the Championship, he scored 47% of his goals in the first 10 games. And Bournemouth are leaky. They're leaky. They conceded 78 goals last season.
Bournemouth conceded 78 last season. Wow.
Yeah.
I know they conceded, but I didn't realise it was that much. Wow.
Yeah, they concede an awful lot. And I did a bit of number crunching, and I took 2017-2018 Championship teams, which was Wolves, Fulham and Cardiff. And I looked at how they finished the season in the 2018-2019 Premier League season. And I took the averages of the amount of goals against over Wolves, Cardiff and Fulham. And I averaged it. And so they'll have a 24 increase in goals against and a 38 reduction in goals for, I'm talking about Sheffield United.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it seems like he's definitely worth the punt for the first game week and maybe second game week.
Yeah, I think your logic is there. Basically, I completely concur with that. I mean, I'm loving the Wilson pick. You're happy with having Wilson over Josh King, the more popular Bournemouth attacking player ahead of obviously Fraser and Brooks, of course.
Yeah, I am, because the points per game for Wilson was 5.6 compared to, I think it's around 4 for King. And obviously the fixtures are very good for them for the first 5 or 6 weeks. So I think Wilson will outscore King, and that's the main reason he's in there.
So obviously you've got, like a lot of teams have, you've got double Everton in Sigurdsson and Coleman. Do you think Fabian Delph will have a positive impact on Everton and maybe make them, number one, more attacking and potentially and making them a bit more defensive as well?
Yeah, I think Fabian Delph will be good in probably the deep lying midfield role, because he did play obviously left back for Man City. So I think in a defensive mid area, I think he could be good cover maybe for I can't pronounce the name. It's like Guy.
Oh, Guy, yeah. Guy.
Yeah. So I think he could add that back up to Everton's back line and defensive midfield area.
Brilliant, Andy. So What's making you change constantly your team at the moment? Is it just being in the Discord group? Is it just...
Well, the last time I came on, I had 2 Sheffield United players, and I got an awful lot of stick for it. So...
Oh, that's right. You had... was it Flack?
Fleck.
Fleck.
Yeah. And I just got so much stick that... So there's something wrong. So it was a really good soundboard, you know. It was a really good soundboard to say, okay, Andrew, you've gone down this Sheffield United rabbit hole, and you need to sort of spread the points elsewhere. Because I had Vardy, so I took Vardy out and then spread the points across the defence and midfield.
Do you think that this actually, talking of the Discord group, do you think this is... It's going to sound really weird, this question, but do you think it's either helping or hindering your decision making? I mean, straight away I'm thinking it's actually helping you based on the fact that you feel that people are telling you to avoid Sheffield United, so that's what you've done.
Yeah, no, I do like to see the different options that people are throwing around, even if it's only one player in their actual lineup that takes my interest. So, yeah, no, it's definitely a good...
Brilliant, Andy. You just cut out there, mate. But thank
okay.
you. It's all right. Thank you for coming on the show, and just hopefully you do stick with that team. It'd be really good to see.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
And see how long it lasts. You'll probably change your team by the end of this stream again.
I'm hoping I won't. I think it's okay.
Stick away. Just sit back, listen to the show, and just enjoy yourself. All right, mate.
Okay.
Cheers,
Thanks,
dude. Take it easy. All right.
See ya. Bye.
Well, that was Andy 1998. You just saw his team there. Now, FPL Booner's in the waiting room. We'll just quickly bring him on air. So, FPL Booner, are you there, my friend? Of course he's not there. He's in and out of the waiting room consistently. So we'll put him back in the thing. What I will say is that we have got someone in the waiting room who has got their team up on the Discord, which I can see right now. It's Zeesh Mahish 123. So what we'll do, Zeesh Mahish, is in a couple of seconds we'll be bringing you live on air. So what I'll do is I'll get your team up on the screen at the moment so people are able to see what your actual team is when we actually start talking about it. So... Zeesh Mahish, we're bringing you live on there. Hello there, Zeesh. Nope, he's... Try and bring it back in again. Zeesh, are you there? Hello there? No, he's not there. People are in the waiting room, but it doesn't seem like they're them. You've all muted your mics. So... Unfortunately, we can't actually get you live on air at the moment, but let's just quickly gloss over what's happening in the chat room. It's extremely busy at the moment. It's absolutely fantastic. And thank you to FPL Booner linking the Discord group. If people are wondering what on earth this Discord is, well, FPL Booner is kindly putting the teams up there at the moment. It's absolutely fantastic. I saw Brett Mollison was in the chat, and then all of a sudden now he's just put a comment up there, and now all of a sudden he's see. And then he went away. So what we'll do, it's actually a technical issue from my point of view, would you believe? So FPL Booner, we're bringing you live on air in a 3, a 2, a 1. Booner, welcome to the show, mate.
Hello, pal. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, you've just said in the chat that I still had you on mute. So yeah, welcome to the stream. Have you made a further 200 different drafts since being on the stream?
Yeah, I have actually. I've gone for a really different team. I've put it in the RMT. Have a look at it and tell me.
Is it towards the bottom? Think. Is it?
Yeah. So scroll up a little bit. I can repost it there if you like, but if you can't find it, let me know.
Yeah, if you repost it, it'd be a lot more easier if you do that. Then. That way I'll be able to
right now. Right. In 3, 2, 1.
So as somebody that's like a consistent watcher of our streams and obviously a huge supporter of the show and everything and is constantly monitoring everything, why do you feel that you're constantly changing your teammate? Is it just there's just so many ideas?
So many ideas, so many different perspectives. I blame Brett Mollison for his 5 at back,
Look at
because when
that.
you see my new team,
Wow. And there's Aguero. Now, did you put
Sterling
Aguero
and
in
Salah.
Yeah, did you put Aguero in because of what we were me and Kev were discussing a minute ago? Or was he in there a while back?
I actually did this last night. I've changed it again today, but I don't quite like it as much as this particular draft. I quite like this. I mean, yeah, I think, if Dunk goes to Leicester as well, then at least I've not got a defensive Brighton double up. What do you think?
It's brave going for a 5-2-3 formation. I see you've still got Delafeu in there. You're not put off by him at all, despite what we were talking about the other day?
No, I think he's got strong fixtures. I've also considered Pereira, because last season he started off really well. So he's another player I've looked at, and he's at a really good price point of 6 million. So, no, I'm not put off them. I think there could be both good assets, to be honest.
Realistic. So, actually, obviously I've noticed that you've got double Everton defence there. Do you think that this Fabian Delph transfer could actually help the defence of Everton?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, he's played in the midfield for City before, and he seems to have done well there. It's just wait and see. Let's see if he plays more defensively or attacking minded, or if he plays at all, because we don't know if he's going to go straight into that team or not at this moment in time. But if he does, put in a defensive shift, then he could absolutely help those defenders.
Realistically, what are the chances of you sticking with this 5-2-3 formation?
It's probably 99% chance of me not sticking to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done another 5 different drafts this morning, probably, whilst on stream.
Obviously, something that you keep telling people in the Discord chat with your advice is, if you feel it's right, stick to it. What is the usual formation and players that you normally have in your team?
So my usual preferred formation is 3-5-2 or 3-4-3, but more so 3-5-2.
Mm-hmm.
The one formation that I can't stand, as you all know, is 4-4-2. And I've been slating Brett Mollison all week about playing 5 at the back, and now I'm playing it myself. So there's a good chance I don't stick to this, because talking about it myself now, I don't really like the idea of losing these clean sheets and then the rest of my team's kind of buggered. So, yeah.
So you think, off the top of your head, if you're going to go with a 3-5-2, what team would it be?
Okay, so if I was to go... So, I mean, at the moment, my current draft, like my current draft, is a 3-5-2. And I've gone for a Trent, Robertson, and at the moment, Kika Firmino in defence.
Right, okay.
Across the midfield, I've currently got Salah, Sterling, Richarlison, Fraser, and Zaha, if he stays. And then King and Delafeu up front. Ideally, obviously, as you know from when we spoke on Sunday, I'm quite keen on going for that Bournemouth triple up, and I might still go back to it. But at the moment, with this team, not having Wilson kind of allows me to double up with Robertson as well as Trent, which I quite like, because I think, looking back at it, if we're serious, Liverpool's fixtures are amazing. And not having 2 defenders, I think, could be detrimental to our start. Because I do think they'll start off really strong.
Boona,
I need to find a way of making sure I can get them.
Boona, I'm going to bring in a special guest. This happened the last time you were on the show, and we're going to do it again. It's not NN. Notorious Nerd. I've seen Notorious Nerd in chat. Welcome to the stream, Notorious. It is our very good friend, Brett Mollison. Brett, are you there?
The last time we're going to do it again. It's not.
Brett, you need to turn down the stream, mate. So when you hear this back briefly, just turn down your stream and we'll be able to have you on, because the feedback, we don't want to be broadcasting live. So we'll get you on in a few seconds. But Yeah, I mean, is there any player off the top of your head, Boona, where you're thinking, actually, I'm now thinking, that's a very good point. Why am I overlooking him? I.e., your player Kane, or, in this case, with your latest draft in Aguero?
Yeah, I think Aguero and Kane have showed to us in previous years that they're both more than. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to how it affects the rest of your team and team balance. And, for example, in my case here, at the moment, I've got two Brighton defenders in Ryan and Dunk, in the 5-2-3, that is. And that is probably weakening the side too much. So that's kind of what puts me off them. So, yeah, I'm in two minds. I think Kane and Aguero are great options, but I wouldn't have either over the likes of Salah and Sterling. So if you're thinking to, not have one of Salah and Sterling so that you can afford Kane or Aguero, I don't believe that's the way to be playing the game.
So I just mentioned a Paul Gray. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if Brett's able to join us again, because Paul Gray's actually in the waiting room. Brett, are you there?
I'm going to see if Brett's...
He's listening to the stream.
Hello? Sorry.
It's all right, Brett. Are you there? Yeah. It's just you're listening to the stream back. Yeah. Can you hear us? You're okay, yeah?
Yeah, no, because I was just watching it while I was waiting for you to add me. I wasn't sure. So then, obviously, if I'm not listening to the stream, then I don't know if you're going to add me. So here I am.
Funny enough, we're going to fix all that, but we can talk about that privately. Anyway, how are you, Brett? Well, welcome to the stream. Obviously, it's about, 9, 10 o'clock at night over there? In Australia, for anybody that doesn't know.
Sorry, just cut out a bit. It's 7 p.m. So, no, you're doing like the perfect stream, because you started just as I was finishing at work.
Oh,
so I've been here the whole time. I've been here the whole time watching.
So, Brett, let's do the usual question. Have you changed your team? And if so, is it still containing 5 players?
Okay, 5 at the back, yeah. Basically, it's not just the formation. I like the 5 when it's the 3 Liverpool. I did make a draft for Boona to make him happy with 5 at the back, Salah, Sterling. They're the essential for the template. I think I cheaped off on a few down the back. Laporte to Zinchenko, and I think Digne to Coleman.
Oh, it's the same team as what Dunk. Sorry, that Boona put up. Right, I see.
Do you want me to go and post the one that I?
Oh no, I've got that one up here actually. I can bring that up now if you want. Because it's only just above. It's only just above the one there. But you were saying about this 5-man midfield, mate.
No, the 5-man defense.
Defense. Sorry.
Boona was just because we have this bit of banter going. I tried to make one that he'd like, so I posted that the other day. So, the one I just posted tonight, the one you're about to bring up is my current one.
The one with Wilson up top, yeah.
That's it.
Triple Liverpool covering no Salah. What's the thought process there?
Well, if you're going to go 5 at the back, I believe you've got to do 5 premiums. And I think Liverpool clearly have the best defense. And yeah, I mean the City double up. I just think City and Liverpool will keep more clean sheets than anyone. And obviously Digne there is. Everton have got great fixtures to start. So basically, I don't think I'm moving from that. And no Salah. So you wanted a bit of a differential team, didn't you? So not having Salah is a bit differential.
Yeah, in all seriousness, we did discuss this the other day, and actually, I think there's a logical plan there. You don't want to be missing those points by constantly swapping between Sterling and Salah, and one or the other gets the points, whereas the other one blanks. I mean, Boona, are you still there? And what are your thoughts on only owning Sterling or Salah?
I'm pulling my hair up. Brett, you bought yourself a larger sofa. Hey?
You know, look, I don't know. I just, Salah could blank. There's no guarantees in anything.
Well, Salah will not blank against a Norwich team that are depleted with their two main centre backs now injured. What's the thought process there? Buy an extension
We'll
for
see.
the sofa.
We'll see, mate. It'll be a good Discord, that's for sure.
For sure.
So
yes, my thoughts generally on a team without Salah and Sterling is a 0 out of 10. I think both are needed personally, but everyone has their different ways of playing the game. So I salute that you've got some cojones, and I wish you all the best.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes
to thanks, Mona.
When it comes to game week 1, I mean, if it goes the way that I'm thinking, which is a 4-0 win, you'd like to think that Salah will be involved somehow. But as I keep saying, it's probably going to end up 2-1 with Henderson and Will Yalman getting the goals and Milner and, I don't know, Lovren getting the assists or something. On game week 1 when it's Liverpool.
Will Yalman.
Wijnaldum or whatever his name is. It's ridiculous, but you know what I mean. It's ludicrous. But I'll tell you what, guys, I'm going to bring on, hopefully, Paul Gray can join us. So we've looked at his first draft, but Paul Gray, are you there? You're on the Elite FPL radio show with myself, FPL Booner and Brett Mollison. Are you there, Paul? No, Paul isn't there. He set up a second draft, but if he's not there, there's no point in.
Paul's muted.
Oh, he's muted.
So Paul, if you're listening, unmute yourself.
Simply unmute yourself, and we'll be able to get you on the So we've had someone on the stream chat, football fan. So let's bring up his team here. Once it loads up, there we are. So what I'll do is I'll get it up on screen now so everybody can see it. So if you two can see his team at the moment, so this is football fans' team. He's live in chat at the moment. He's going with a 4-3-3. Ooh. So Angus Gunn in goal. Robertson, Alexander-Arnold, Laporte, Digne. Salah, Sterling, Zaha. Calvert-Lewin, Deulofeu and King, and then a bench of Charlie Taylor, Steve. So he's one of the few people that actually has playing substitutes. Charlie Taylor, Stevens, and Mark Noble with
I quite
Matt
like
Ryan
that
in
team.
goal. So you're liking it, are you, Boomer?
I like that quite a lot actually. He's got the key assets there that I look for. So you've got at least one of Trent and Robertson. In fact, he's got both, but he's also got Salah, Sterling there, Laporte, which could still be a really good pick with all these managers now going for Zinchenko, and Digne, who offers massive attacking threat. Forward lines similar to mine, King and Deulofeu and Zaha and Calvert-Lewin, and still having a playing bench. I quite like that. What's your thoughts?
Yes, it's okay. It's just that front three, isn't it? Calvert-Lewin, I'm not a big fan of. Deulofeu, well, you've heard my thoughts before on him, but he could potentially be an excellent option this season. And then, of course, Josh King, who's a bit hit and miss for Bournemouth, but still can just give you the odd goal here and there, despite the fact that Wilson is the main man, as Brett's already alluded to. I mean, Brett, what are your thoughts on this quick 4-3-3 formation?
To be honest, look, if you have 0.5 if you do Calvert, you can get a premium defender. I just think the points are there. Apart from that, I mean, I like Deulofeu. Did me good last season. Yeah, it looks good. Apart from, I'm just not sure Calvert-Lewin just yet. So maybe not having Noble, maybe downgrade Noble to a 4.5 and spend the 6.5. And if you want to do that, formation, maybe Jota.
Brett, you're breaking up. We'll keep you on, but just to let you know, you're breaking away. So what we're going to do is we're going to get Paul Gray up on in the live chat. So hopefully Paul can join us. Hello, Paul. Are you there? Paul Gray, are you there? Your team's up on the screen because obviously I brought in. Are you there speaking? No, he's not there, is he? He's gone. That's the thing with this Discord, isn't it, Booner? Is that some people? I mean, you may be able to tell people actually live on air now what's actually going on.
So I mean, I'm not sure on this occasion why Paul Gray's unable to speak because he seems unmuted from his end, and I don't imagine he's on mute from your end, so that should be all fine. I imagine he's just kind of away from his phone at the moment, or he's not listening in. But just for those on air, kind of, listening in now, if you're looking to come online and you're listening to the live stream, what you need to do is to avoid the echo is to close off YouTube or, the stream that you're listening to and focus on Discord, because then you'll be live in time with Steve-O, and that will prevent the delay when listening back.
Yeah, and that's sound advice there. I mean, we've had another request from someone called... This is going to be a long-winded name now. Korik Akinfenwa. I can actually pronounce it pretty well, unless it is the real Akinfenwa of Northampton. But he wants us to check out his team, so I'll bring it up on screen now, and I'm going to stick with Akinfenwa. But basically, this is his team at the moment. Let's bring it up on air. He's going with a 3-4-3. It's got a lot of differentials in here, Booner. So, Alisson in goal, Coleman, Van Dijk, Van Aanholt, Salah, Tielemans, Lucas Moura, Pulisic, Deeney, King, and Aguero. Certainly different, isn't it? Bruno, are you there?
Yes, mate. Sorry there. I'm here. Yep. I like it. I think it's another good team. I was just doing something. Quite like the Aguero pick, to be honest with you.
Yeah, what about Lucas Moura then?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, you're there. Oh, Boona seems to...
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Boona. Yeah, you're all there. You're all fine.
Okay. I think the headphone muted on my side. I do apologise. Yeah, again, I quite like the team, to be honest. What's your thoughts?
It's different. I mean, the Van Aanholt pick sticks out straight away here. Obviously, you're going to be heavily relying on Crystal Palace and clean sheets, and those two words do not go together very well at all. Tielemans, I think, again, excellent pick. Pulisic, I'd wait and see on him personally. See how he fits into Lampard's system, whatever he plays. Lucas Moura for the first 2 game weeks could be, as you said before, a really good punt.
Exactly.
Troy Deeney, again, guaranteed. Well, he's not guaranteed to start for Watford, but he's a solid option there. I think, in fact, ironically, I'd rather have Deulofeu than Deeney. But he's got his 2 premium players in Aguero and Deeney in there, Salah in there. I think, yeah, it's solid. I mean, Brett, he's not going with the 5-man defence, but what are your thoughts on this 3-4-3 formation?
As you said, I mean, I wouldn't be going defensive Crystal Palace. I mean, I just feel like paying up like the 5.5 to 6 million and getting the premium when you got a bit more chance of the clean sheet. Pulisic, I heard he's more of a defensive. I mean, I don't know too much about him, but I heard that he's a bit more defensive. So I'm not sure whether it could be some sort of like a Kante or Jorginho type of player.
I don't think he's anything like that. No, I certainly don't think he's going to be playing on the right of a midfield 3. I would think in a 4-2-3-1 or something, or on the right of a 4-4-2.
it's a bit of a punt, I'd say, coming from Bundesliga.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd maybe wait and see, even under Lampard, see how maybe even Chelsea assets. I'm not sure. Mora, obviously, Sun's out for 2 weeks, and they got that nice fixture at home against Villa. I mean, that's a good shout. Not sure about the City game, but you know. What else we got? I like Tielemans. Just
a lot of people.
I want to put him in. I want to put him in my team myself, but I just want to know how it all fits with Perez and that. It's sort of. I guess I'll get a better idea with a few preseason fixtures, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, talking of Perez, people seem to be choosing Perez over Tielemans. What are your thoughts? I'm a bit miffed by that. I would take Tielemans personally.
Perez actually scored quite well as a forward, and with the Newcastle team, which, let's be honest, weren't the best. So he could, in a Leicester team, be quite value at 6.5. It could end up being like a 7.5 come the start of next season. You never know. Tielemans was only in for a short stint, so he did well while he was in. But to choose between the two, I wouldn't know. I just stay away and have a look and see how it goes, and probably jump on when the time's right, mate.
Yeah. So
but so
go on, carry on.
I was just going to say the obvious pick is Vardy, because I don't think anybody's going to take him out of the number one spot. He's cost the 9 million, so it's a bit more expensive as a forward as well. But yeah.
So
I mean, you got Maddison in that mix as well at 7.
Well, funny you bring up Maddison and Boona. Are you still there?
I'm still here, mate, yeah.
So Paul Gray has just said in chat basically that his microphone or headphones are bust. But anyway, he wants us to rate his second team that he's just done up. But it's the interesting picks of 2 Tottenham players, which I'd like to hear your thoughts on, Boona. So basically, Ryan's draft here is Paul's draft is Ryan in goal, Digne, Van Dijk, Zinchenko, Dunk. I mean, there is a theme slowly building here now. Salah, Maddison, as Brett Mollison just mentioned, De Bruyne and Eriksen in the midfield four. Delafeu and Harry Kane up top. What instantly, Boona, what are you thinking on Eriksen?
I think it could be a good option, to be honest with you. I know that we're seeing hardly any teams with him in, and understandably so, because he's been linked with a move away. But there hasn't been much mention of it recently. And if he were to stay, and with, obviously we mentioned before, Ndombele and Sissoko now kind of helping that defence out, Eriksen could get a bit more of a lease of life. And we've seen what Eriksen's capable of in previous seasons, maybe not last season. So it could be a shrewd pick.
Yeah, I mean, Brett, you were mentioning about Maddison there. Do you think that people are overlooking Maddison when it comes to having Perez and Tielemans only, or do you think that they're going with Perez and Tielemans just simply for the fact that he's 0.5 cheaper? They're 0.5 cheaper.
Yeah, look, the 0.5 you could save on Maddison, go Perez or Tielemans, and then it could be the difference between getting someone else in another position that you prefer. So it's all about tinkering with that team and getting the right mix, I guess. But obviously he's on the free kicks and that, and I think under the old manager he got he got benched a couple of times, didn't he? But like with with Rodgers coming in, I think everyone just fresh face, and everyone just lifted, and back into the season, Leicester were banging in the goals until you captain them, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, for both of you two, just a quick question. Do you think, we'll start with you, Boona, first.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that De Bruyne can cover Sterling's points? And then when Boona's finished, if you want to just jump in afterwards, Brett.
I don't necessarily think he'll be able to cover Sterling's points, but for the 2.5 million less that he is, I think he'll be able to get close enough in terms of points per game. So he'd be value for his price point, I'm confident. That's why I'm also looking at him. I might double up with Sterling in midfield.
And you, Brett?
KDB is tempting, but I don't know. I just worry about the same thing happening, because every time he came back last year, something else went wrong, like his knee or... So I don't know. I haven't heard how he's going pre-season. If he's flying, if he's playing all the games, getting the minutes, then 9.5. It's be hard to say. But is he injury prone at the moment? We'll see. I do like him. Just that saving is awesome. But, I mean, you want him to play regularly. So we'll see.
So we'll get one more person live on air before we end the stream here, and it's Ina 11122. I mean, Ina, so basically if you want to come live on air, make sure that you unmute yourself, because at the moment you've muted your mic. I've seen that FPL Little Saints is there. He's a regular in the Discord group. If same for you, FPL Little Saints. If you want to unmute your microphone, we'll get you live on air in a second. So Ina, I've given you a few seconds to unmute yourself, and we'll bring you live on air right now. Hello there, Ina. Are you there?
Yes.
Good afternoon, Ina. How are you? What do you want to... Hello, Ina?
Hello?
Hello, Ina. Are you there? Yeah?
Hello?
Hello, hello, Ina. Yes, you're live on air. What would you like to say to our audience?
I don't know.
Right, okay. Well, the great live TV. What a moment, everybody. FPL Little Saints, you are back with us in Cyprus. How are you, mate?
Hello.
All right, we are.
Hello.
We are talking.
Add another hour to the stream, Steve-O.
Say that again.
Add another hour to the stream. We've got Little Saints back.
Little Saints, my friend. What do you want to talk about regarding all things fantasy football?
Well, first and foremost is that I was out, and then all of a sudden I just got another notification. You like go live. I'm panicking. I'm not at home. So that's me running to get back home. But I don't know. I haven't heard anything about transfers today. I don't know if you've spoken about it already.
Just the brief ones. Basically, I read that Sam Byron of West Ham has joined Norwich, and Haller of Frankfurt. It looks like he'll be joining West Ham. And the interesting thing with Haller is, I mean, if you know much about him, please let us know. Interesting thing is he scored 15 goals and got 9 assists for Frankfurt last year. So
yeah. Wasn't he Jovic's strike partner, if I'm not mistaken?
I don't know if Bruno or Brett will know.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah, he scored 15 goals and 9 assists. Did you say, Steve-O? That's what I've read somewhere.
Yes, that's correct.
I've heard quite a few people saying that he was actually better than Jovic when it came to the actual watching the games. So
I saw a highlights reel this morning when I saw the news, and his playing style is quite similar to Jimenez. Just so people know what to expect. So, if he's anything like Jimenez and he comes in at around 7 million, he could be a great option.
Yep. I also heard, rumours again, that obviously being an Arsenal fan, I'm more into Arsenal transfers. So I heard that we've sent a medical team over to Brazil for Everton Suarez, stuff like that. I don't know if you guys heard of it or if it's going around in England.
Luis Suarez.
Everton Suarez, the Brazilian.
No, I've not heard anything.
Well, apparently that's what's been saying. Everyone's been talking about lately for the last 12, 18 hours, something like that.
Really? Is that for a free transfer then, given it's Arsenal?
Will that be? I'm not going to proclaim to know much about it, but would you be, if that was to go through, would you actually be happy with that?
Well, at this point, I would be because we need players. But if I had my pick, I would still go Fraser.
Oh, as a transfer to be coming in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, I think that bringing in quality Premier League players to a Premier League club is probably the best way to go if you're going to be doing any This is just my opinion from a transfer point of view. But
I totally agree. If it was up to me, all my transfers, if I was like the Arsenal board, will be straight out of the Premier League.
Yes.
That goes for defenders, centre mids, even wingers that we need. It would be either Dunk or Bolly for centre defence. Olitini, I would go outside of the Prem that we apparently are close to. In the middle, I would have gone for either NDD or Decore. If I would go for Fraser, then Zaha, but Zaha's looking a bit too expensive, to be honest. So,
in all seriousness, so I've got Arsenal up on the screen. Well, I've got Leno, but I've got Arsenal's fixtures up on the screen at the moment. And do you think that we're overlooking Arsenal assets for our teams?
Well, as it stands, as it
stands right now, do you think we as the FPL community are overlooking Arsenal? Because their opening fixtures, Newcastle away and Burnley at home, are excellent.
I'm sorry, you cut up there. Say that again.
I was just saying that your opening fixtures of Newcastle away and Burnley at home are absolutely fantastic. What do you not think that we're overlooking people like Aubameyang, Lacazette, maybe a defender in like Maitland-Niles or Kolasinac as an example?
No, I would just go for Aubameyang, to be honest, if it push comes to shove. But again, I wouldn't go anywhere near Arsenal assets at the moment. The only other person who in the squad now that would appeal to me, but he's injured obviously, is Bellerin.
That's a good point actually. What do you think that Rob Holding is going to be your number one centre back this season whenever he returns back from injury?
As things stand, and if we go with a 4 at the back, I'll go with Socrates and Holding. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And at 4.5 is an excellent option.
Exactly. I see him as a future Arsenal captain.
Wow.
What do you make of Koscielny refusing to join up with the squad on the tour?
It's embarrassing, to be honest. He should be shipped out first thing. The last 2 days. He should have been shipped out. That's no way for a captain of any team to behave, let alone if he wants to leave, how old he is, how many minutes he had under his belt. That is not a way to, especially pre-season with like younger from the U23s, U18s going on tour. That's no way to behave.
Yeah.
It's appalling.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading on various articles that actually Maitland Miles. There's a reason why I said that. Maitland Niles could actually be a really good option as a as an out of position player. So rather than being, as he's classified in the FPL game as a defender, he'll be playing on your left wing. What are your thoughts on Maitland Niles potentially as a FPL asset at 5 million and potentially in the Arsenal midfield instead of defence?
The only way he'll be in midfield is that in his natural position, which will be a CDM. That's his natural position. I don't see him as a winger or anything. Even on the right, well, I would say right wing because he's been playing right back. But again, no.
So what I'm going to do deliberately is I'm going to bring in another caller, and it is the legend that is Notorious Nerd. So Notorious Nerd, you're going to be joined by 2 Elite FPL hardcore community members, along with Brett Mollison and FPL Booner. Notorious Nerd, welcome to the stream. Hello, Notorious. Notorious, are you there? A 3? A 2?
Yes, Steve.
Oh, there he is. Yep, there he is.
Thanks for having me.
Good morning, Notorious. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Back from work. Your stream is going live.
So, have you changed your team since we last spoke on Sunday?
No. Still the same team. but I've been contemplating Sterling. Apart from that, much.
Are you happy with the news that it looks like Sane is going to be staying at City after all? And obviously you had him in your team. Are you now willing to go through with it and stick with Sane for game week 1?
Definitely. Sane, like, is my first City pick. So if you get decent amount of preseason, I'm definitely having Sterling or KD.
Oh, wow. We'll just do a quick rate my team because Cristiano is asking about us all rating his team. So Boona, Jason, aka FPL Saints, Brett Mollison. Have a look at your screen now. I need to bring it up. My apologies there. So this is Cristiano's team. He wants us to rate it. So let's go and rate it, shall we? So it's Nick Pope in goal. Digne, Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Holebas, Sigurdsson, Salah, Perez, Sterling, Boona's favourite, Delafeu and Josh King. So I'll go to you, Saints, first. What are your thoughts on that team?
I just don't like Delafeu, to be honest.
Yeah,
I did have it a couple of times. I had him a couple of times last year, but he's not a player that excites me, let's say, that will inspire me to be getting points. I just see him as basically just holding a place in the starting 11. Is that Holebas, if I'm not mistaken?
Holebas, yes.
Well, so with Holebas, it will be the game's like kicked off, and I'm like praying to myself, is he going to get assist or is he going to get a red card?
Yeah, but what's more scary, having Holebas with the send-off ability or having 5 at the back?
5 at the back all day.
Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, Brett, we've got...
It's me and Brett holding up the 5 at the back flag, and we're flying it high and proud.
Yeah, I mean, Brett, we were talking about Perez here. Here's another team with Perez in. I mean, do you think that people are just relying on Perez too much for Leicester?
Look, it could go either way. I mean, they've got a loaded team now. They've been... So, I mean, I just got to stay away, I reckon, to see how it goes. It's not something I want to start with. And Holebas, don't get me started. He got me minus. He got me minus, mate. Never again. He's banned.
So Jason...
He got own goals, red cards. Just, yeah, Holebas, get out of the team. But apart from that, I like the team. Although... there's a little bit of money on the bench. So, is McGoldrick 5.5? I haven't really looked at it.
He's 5.5, and then you got Ryan at 4.5,
I mean,
Kelly 4, and then Dendonker 4.5.
I'm thinking Wickham could get minutes, or Greenwood now could get minutes.
Why do you say that?
So I'd use the. Sorry.
I was just wondering, why do you say that Greenwood would get some minutes? We did have Stein on earlier thinking that Greenwood would get some minutes as well. We all there?
Sorry, mate. I think you cut out a bit.
Oh, did I cut out a bit there? I was just making the point that Stein is confident with Greenwood starting, and you've just said that you're confident of Greenwood starting as well. Or getting minutes anyway.
I'm not sure he'll be stuck. Yeah, I think he'll come off the bench more often than not. But I'd rather have that and then upgrade Holebas to somebody else. So, like, take the $1 million off the bench and put it in Holebas to get a decent defender.
Yeah, I completely agree. So, Cristiano, there's your rate my team there. Hopefully you took the information out of what you could. But little Saints, anything else you want to talk about, mate? Any thought process? I mean, here's a question that I've been asking a lot of our callers. In your team at the moment, who do you think is going to be definitely starting in game week 1 without fail?
The 2 Liverpool defenders.
Right, okay. And what combination is that?
Arnold and Van Dijk.
Right. Okay. So that's an absolute definite.
That's an absolute definite. At the past 24 hours, I've been tinkering about with either Salah in the team or Sterling in the team to accommodate Kane, which I know Bruno's not really a fan of. But just just playing around, see what I can get out of the team. If you want, I could post up my team that I've got now, which is without Sterling in.
Yeah, you'll get it up in the Rate My Team, and we'll check it out and see.
All right, let me just
what's going on here. I mean, Notorious, if you could if you could just tell us who is guaranteed to be starting in your game week 1 team.
Salah.
You're cutting out there, Notorious. I'll have to.
Yeah, Salah. Mohamed Salah will definitely be starting.
Yeah. Anybody else in the team that is an absolute certainty to be not leaving your game week 1 squad? Jamie Vardy.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So we got Little Saint. We've got Little Saints' team up on screen at the moment, and it's like he said, it's a 4-4-2 formation. It's Nick Pope in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Azpilicueta, Van Dijk and Coleman. Nice. Richarlison, don't see his name much. Zaha, Tielemans, Salah, and a nice front line of Kane and Wilson. So yeah, Little Saints, it's looking different, but it's looking solid.
No City cover.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good point. There isn't City cover. What's going on there, Saints?
I don't know. Like I said, just playing around, to be honest.
I mean, generally speaking, I think that team is very strong. I like the Richarlison pick. I think he's someone that I'm looking at myself. Prefer him over Sigurdsson as well.
Well, the only reason being is because for the past 2 seasons, up to Christmas, he's the explosive one, and then he just drops. So, and with the favourable fixtures all the way to mid-December, that's accommodating him.
Absolutely.
But but now that I was seeing it, there ain't no City in there, and I'm like, okay. What I could do though, I could take out Coleman and put Zinchenko in there, so that'll be one way.
I think the main problem is that a lot of people will be arguing the fact that you don't have a City attacker.
Well, let's be honest.
Salah to Sterling.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've been tinkering around with either Salah in the team or Sterling in the team. But let's be honest.
Salah to Sterling and then buy another sofa.
All right, Bruno, let me ask you a question. How big is your sofa without Kane in it?
I don't need a big sofa without Kane in it because I don't need to worry about the second game week then, if you know what I mean. I don't think he's going to do as well second game week.
But you never know. They might blow City out of the wall as they did in the Champions League.
Not without Son, though. I don't think so.
Well, they did it. They did.
Well, yeah. There's always that.
Well, before I let you go, Little Saints, and before I let you go, Notorious Nerd, so I'll start with Notorious Nerd. Which player do you think you're most worried not having in game week 1? Which player? I'll give you mine. Mine would be Harry Kane. So a player that you don't own now, but you wish you did.
Is that for me, Steve-O?
No, for Notorious Nerd, just before we let him go.
Oh, it would be Sterling if I can't afford him.
Wow. Okay, so...
If I go for Sané, it could be Sterling.
Notorious, thanks for joining us, mate. We'll just let you go. And Little Saints, who would the one player be that's not in your draft now that you'd be worried not having?
Before I answer that, can I elaborate on it?
Yeah.
So it depends on how I'm going to start the season. If it's going to be Salah and Sterling, the 2 players will be Kane and Aguero. If I'm starting with either, let's say Sterling and Kane, it'll be Salah. If I'm starting with Kane and Salah, it'll be Sterling.
Yeah.
It'll be one of those 3, depending on who's in my team. Because you can't basically fit all 3 and have a good, solid, balanced team.
Yes.
Somewhere you have to sacrifice. So it's going to be one of those three, depending who you don't have at that point in your team.
Are you just looking at this just before you go? This 4-4-2. You're happy with the Stacey pick? It's somebody certainly that I'll be looking at.
Well, yeah. Well, one of the reasons being is because he's low owned. So even if he doesn't play or whatever, and people get him out, he won't go like a 4.4.
Yes. Yeah.
He won't drop as much as, say, I don't know, Dunk, who's 7.7 in the game, like ownership, something like that, and Kelly, who's even more than that, so I think 13, I think. So that's the only reason for that is actually so the price not going down too much or too early.
Brilliant. Little Saints.
But I don't think I'm going to stay with this 4-4-2. I don't really like it, to be honest. I'm still thinking 5 at the back.
It's like
5 at the back. That's it.
I told you, Brett. It's me and you, mate. Me and you.
It only makes sense of five premiums.
If you can just give me Boona, can you just take over the show for just 2 seconds? Just ask a couple of questions. I just need to get the door for a second.
No
Sorry.
problem,
This is what happens when you're live.
No problem, mate. So,
how you going, Boona?
I'm doing really good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. What's going on?
Not a lot, really. I'm waiting to go to gym. What about yourself?
Live on YouTube doing a stream. Hey, let's do some.
Yeah, go for it, mate.
I was going to say, do a comparison.
What I was going to suggest was that we did some Rate My Teams, because there's quite a few people that have got Rate My Teams in here. So as Stevo stepped away, I'll tell you the teams instead, and then you guys give me your perspective on them. So there's this one guy, Yash Wardhan Jain, who's been asking for a Rate My Team for some time now. So let's have a quick look at his team. So he starts with Edison in goal, Robertson, Van Dijk, Digne, Zinchenko in defence. So he's playing a 4-4-2. He's got Lucas Moura, Richarlison, Salah, and Fraser across, and Wilson and King up front. So like me from the other day, he's going for a Bournemouth triple up. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
I tell you what, the first 2 games, I'm all in on that. I had the triple up a couple of days ago. Fraser, King, Wilson, even Brooks maybe. I wouldn't want to have the triple up for too long. I mean, City's game week 3, so you probably want to use some transfers to adjust that a bit, because it could be difficult. But yeah, I mean, the way that Bournemouth can score, I mean, the promoted teams, they could be got at. So I've got 2, and I did have 3, but people talking about how fast Richarlison starts the season, I had to bring him in. But yeah, 3 Bournemouth looks very nice on paper, I'll tell you.
I completely agree with you. I was on a triple up, and obviously, as you guys already know, my thought process is to hold 2 transfers going into game week 3, and in 2 of them out to kind of avoid that tricky fixture. What's your thoughts, Saint?
I think it's a bit of an overkill.
Okay.
I think Fraser's a must, and then basically you're choosing out of King and Wilson. For me, what I'm liking, to be honest, is that back line, especially with Edison in goal. What was it?
Yeah, Edison in goal.
Yep, I like that, and I like that. Although he doesn't have a City attacker, let's say, it's well spread, so points can come in from anywhere from there, and not just 4 or 5 points. We're talking a good 8, 9, maybe 10. So it's well spread. Is that Luke? Did you say Lucas Moura is in there as well?
Bear with me 1 second. I've just gone away from it. I don't think there was a Lucas Moura in there.
I believe it is.
Yes, there was.
Lucas
there
Moura.
was. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's covered Tottenham as well, and everyone everyone is saying if it's not Kane, then it's Lucas Moura for at least the first 2 games when he comes in. So that could be a dark horse as well.
Any thoughts on the lack of City attacking cover again?
Well, this is what I was going to say before. If it's not Sterling, it's Aguero. So if it's not one of those two, then I don't think there's any point.
Absolutely, I agree. I do think you need at least one City attacker in there, whether that even be Kevin De Bruyne at the lesser price of 9.5. I think, we saw what City are capable of doing last season, so I think we'd be silly to ignore that.
Yeah, they're so free scoring. They score so many goals when they want. So you just have to get one in at least, midfield or forward, I would say. So I was just looking with the triple Bournemouth and Lucas Moura. You'd have maybe Moura benched game week 3 if Son returns. So if Moura's benched and you've only got 2 free transfers, I mean, you'd be taking hits, but because obviously you wouldn't want the triple up and Moura. So yeah, I don't know.
I completely agree. Also, looking there, I see that he's got Wesley on the bench for 6 million. So there's 1.5 million pounds worth of money there on the bench.
Well, guys, what he could do though is actually come game week 3 is take out De Bruyne, put Son there, which is the same amount.
He doesn't have De Bruyne.
He doesn't have De Bruyne.
Oh, sorry,
Moura.
Yeah, plus that 1.5 that you said on the bench, and either stick with the 2 Bournemouths in front, or can actually take one out, make it into, say, I don't know, a Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, possibly. Personally, I'm not keen on having any Bournemouth players playing against City, which, in my head now I'm thinking triple Bournemouth, you're right, does seem to be a tad overkill.
Yeah.
So then it's just deciding which of the 2 Bournemouth attackers you want to have. For me, given how well they did last season, I think it's got to be Fraser and Wilson.
Okay, so you can take King and make it into like a De La Feu, which you like. Let's say.
True, absolutely, exactly.
Which
And De La Feu he's got a decent fixture game week 3 as well in West Ham at home, I believe he plays. So could be an option. We've got a few people in chat asking about, well, what about Bernardo Silva? Personally, he's not my sort of player. But what's your guys' take on it? I just feel like he isn't explosive enough, and that's why I've not kind of selected him. But what do you guys think?
I pretty much agree with you. I mean, he's probably that little bit cheaper for a reason. He doesn't get the hauls. He just sort of. His points come in dribs and drabs. You might get a goal here, goal there, but as you say, the other assets, the KDB and Sterling, you're paying for what you get. Like they're just so explosive. 8 million. I'm not sure I'd want an $8 million midfielder for City. Sort of almost a waste of a slot, maybe.
Completely agree. And now that we've had that news as well from Bayern that they feel like their chances of getting Sane now are extremely low. And if Sane is to stay with City, then it just adds that extra bit of rotation risk. What do you think?
Well, if Sane stays, then, you could even have KDB rotated, and you got the Silvers. Mahrez is class, but can't get a minute. It's difficult.
Well,
They got so much rotation.
To start with, though, I think the threat of Mahrez is quite low because obviously, as we all know, he's playing the AFCON final, so both him and Mane are likely to miss the start of the season, in my opinion. So I don't see that being as much of a problem. Obviously, Sane ended the season not really in the team, so there's always that. So, it's one to keep an eye on. Thivo's back.
I am back. Sorry about that. It doesn't matter why I had to go away, but I had to go away. So, what are we talking about?
We're talking about, how good it is to kind of, lead the show, and like Steve-O's not here, and it's all really good.
And how smoothly everything runs.
I was actually observing the backdrop in your picture and everything. Was analysing everything.
Yes, everybody's not in today, so basically I can do this from the bottom, on the bottom floor rather than the top. Well, basically instead of being in my bedroom, I can do it on the in the front room. But yeah, how did everything go? Everything okay? No disasters, nothing.
No, not at all. We did a bit more rate my teams because there was one or two others that I'd seen mentioned. So we did that. We went through Yash, Warden, Jen's team, who also went with a triple Bournemouth attack.
Oh wow!
But also he had Lucas Moura in his team. So potentially a fourth person that would be up from game week 3 when Son came in. And obviously you've only got 2 free transfers, so we weren't too sure about that particular team. And the fact that he didn't have any City attacking cover. So whilst the team on paper looked quite good, there were a few problems, and we were just discussing that. We came to the resolution, for example, King could become a Deulofeu to have that one less player to worry about when the fixtures kind of don't go as good. And then we had the kind of a question in chat about Bernardo Silva, and what do we kind of think on him, and that's kind of where we were ending it as you came.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, I mean. For me, I just think that there are better options for City when it comes to Bernardo Silva. I'd rather take David Silva, to be honest with you. I think that the fact that, it's his last season at Man City, I think he'd want to go out with a bang. I think he did so well for City last year. I mean, what are your thoughts on potentially David Silva? I mean, he's only, I'll bring it up on screen now, he's only 7.5.
And Notorious Nerd also mentions that in the chat, that he'd rather have David Silva. I said he's likely to play less minutes this year, but he's adamant that he should start the season nonetheless, as he's going to be fresh. So he could well be an option, and we know what he's capable of. So
can I just ask a question before we continue on this?
Yeah.
Now with Company gone, who's the captain of City?
Is it?
I imagine it would be Laporte.
Yeah.
Is it actually David Silva?
I don't know.
Let me have a quick Google.
Does it affect fantasy football?
Well, the captain's got to play, doesn't he?
Well, exactly. That's what I'm thinking as well.
Not necessarily, because
if he's named captain, he's got to.
Because Tom Heaton was our captain for Burnley, and he didn't play. He didn't play at the start of last season. If you remember, it was Joe Hart. So it's not.
He was injured.
Tom Heaton. He was injured, but that's why we brought in Joe Hart, and I think that Dyche, even when Tom Heaton was back from injury, he still played Joe Hart. So, but then again, that's Sean Dyche all over. He just sticks with tried and trusted players, so to speak.
If they haven't named one, I'd think they'd go with Laporte, wouldn't they?
You would think so, yeah. You would think so, but
or Aguero.
Yeah, I think you could be right. I've had a wee Google, and we've seen a few media outlets mentioning it could be David Silva, but I don't think that entitles him to play every single game. So I don't think that's as relevant.
Well, yeah, for sure, yeah, I agree with that. But that although he will have reduced minutes, it won't be that drastic, I would think. And not only that, my other thinking is now that Rodri's gone there. What about Fernandinho, and how would that solidify the CDM? So for the other players to be exploited in front of them?
Yeah, that's a good point, because if we all remember, whenever Fernandinho doesn't actually play for City seem to struggle. So I'm wondering if actually Rodri could be that option where actually when Fernandinho's out, or if Rodri's going to be the first team player, well, he'll be that solid unit in which Man City are reliable enough to continue doing really, really well.
Is that the position Rodri plays in, central defensive midfield?
Yeah.
So if anything, you'd think that the City defence this year would be even stronger if they've got Fernandinho and him there, which automatically makes one of their defensive assets at the bare minimum rather essential.
Exactly. Because I've got
two.
If I'm not mistaken, that's the reason why they bought him, because now Fernandinho's something like 34 years old, something like that. So he's going to be the next Fernandinho, let's say.
Zinchenko, get in my team.
Right, I think I'm going to end it there, lads. I think that, I mean, we're going on for now coming up to 3 hours, and I wasn't even expecting me to go in for 3 hours because of you lot. You make it 3 hours. I'll let you guys go, but have you got any final thoughts, little saints, before we let you leave?
When's the next one?
I'm waiting for Steve to say 7 p.m. this evening.
No,
I mean,
4 days, at least 4 days. See you tomorrow, lads.
It's funny. I mean, in all seriousness, I mean, I really want to get one going with Jason and Dan. But as I keep banging on about, it's just our time schedules at the moment are completely all over the place. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to you three doing your next one and then getting 1 or 2 special guests on, like for 5-10 minute slots or whatever it might be.
Yes.
Be good.
You go on, Boona.
No, I'm still here.
I thought you were about to make a really interesting point.
I was waiting for that.
Wait, what did you hear?
You said something along those lines. I can't wait for you three to get on there. You'll be able to speak to guests because.
No. I said I can't wait for you three to do your next, group pod together, and then have special guests come on for 5-minute slots. I think it'll be really interesting. I'm looking forward to that.
Me personally, in all seriousness, for people that are not regular viewers or they've only just tuned in, and it's the typical thing of, oh, you're talking about 3 hosts? I thought it was just Steve-O. No, there are actually 3 of us that are part of this show. It's just the fact that the reason why I do these podcasts is to get the regular content out there and just to keep the Elite FPL name relevant in the world of fantasy football, basically. And we want to build up a community and a fan base. We want to advertise this this Discord and everything. And if we're not doing anything live on there, then what on earth are we going to be doing? So the point being is that it is usually 3 of us. It's myself, Dan and Jason. And I'm trying to find the picture that Alex Vola put up. But surprise, surprise, you can whenever you want to find something, you can never find it. But yeah, there's usually 3 of us. But unfortunately, due to circumstances which are completely out of our control, it's usually just me, and I just decide to do it any old time during the day. But I'm hoping that people are enjoying the show. For the amount of people that are watching at the moment, I just want to say thank you. And if you can actually hit that like button if you are enjoying it, because clearly you are enjoying it if you're staying there. In fact, here we go, lads. If you haven't seen this is wonderful. I'm sure people in Discord have seen this particular picture. If you haven't, you haven't. But have a look at this, everybody. This is superb. So this is a treat for anybody that's stayed with us this long. So there we are, everybody. There is the 3 of us. So there's Jason on the left, the Man United fan. Obviously, that's me in the middle. And there's Dan on the right.
What is that? What is that? I am human.
And that is genuinely the 3 of us, and
that's the best picture I've seen all day.
On that note, I will never return again.
And usually it's the 3 of us that do a stream together, but I don't want to keep banging on about it. It's just the fact that we can't get together at the same time. But what I will say is that this isn't the Steve-O show. Basically, this is down to all 3 of us. The hard work that we put into this show and everything is down to all 3 of us. We talk on a daily basis about everything. We're in the Jason certainly is in the Discord all the time. I keep banging on about this. If you have any feedback for us regarding this show, preferably constructive, we'd love to chat, get your ideas, and see what we can use with the conversation, so to speak. And yeah, at some point in the very near future, the 3 of us will be able to get together. I mean, I encourage these 2 to do solo ones themselves. I do encourage them to do it. I really want to see these 2 do some solo ones and see different ideas that they have regarding fantasy football and everything, because I understand that after a while hearing me all the time is getting a bit repetitive, but whatever. But yeah, so Little Saints, have you got any final words before we go off air?
Just keep tinkering, everyone.
There you have it. And Brett, Any final thoughts before we let you go?
I'd just like to thank you for just keep coming back nearly every day through the pre-season, just to have a chat with us, do the Rate My Teams. It's just really good. I mean, obviously you've got a little bit more spare time on your hands, you say, so why not use it to talk FPL? We all love it. So thanks again for your time.
I completely agree, and I said it at the start of the stream. I don't know if you caught this particular moment or not, but I am one of these people where when I wake up, I am hoping that somebody has done a stream or, done a new piece of FPL content, obviously for somebody that I follow. But unfortunately, there's just nothing. No one seems to be producing much content during this pre-season. So I'm just like, well, I know for a fact that if I'm thinking this, I can guarantee you now there'll be other people thinking this. So we may as well get these podcasts out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't lie. I mean, I straight away, every time I wake up, I check. And this morning, there was no Elite FPL Steve O'Reilly, and I was like, damn. So, yeah, I mean, I listened to the last couple from the day before and the day before that throughout today. So, yeah, I appreciate it. So, yeah, I can't thank you enough, actually. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, come on. We'll all say yeah. No, in all seriousness, no. Thank you very much. I'll let you guys go, and I'll close out the show. Thank you so much for taking over while I was just off air.
No problem. All
Cheers, Steve.
Cheers, dude.
Bye.
Thank you. Cheers, Little Saints. Cheers, Boona.
Bye.
So there we have it, everybody. There was for a brief moment there, you had a special guest appearance from Brett Mollison, Little Saints, and Boona taking over the show, and I can't thank him enough for doing so. But yeah, I'm going to end it there. That stream has gone on really, really long. In fact, I'm coming up to a record-breaking time now, so but I'm going to end it there. I'll do the usual admin. If you've enjoyed the stream, please hit that like button. If you enjoyed the content that we are producing throughout this pre-season, only more is coming. It's just like Brett said. We will just keep bringing this content to you guys because this is what you guys want, basically. And the easiest way to find out is obviously if you hit that subscribe button. Of course, if you hit the notification button as well, you will find out when I do these sporadic, spontaneous live streams because, like I said, I just do it any old time. Boona has posted in the chat the Discord link, so if you want to be part of the Discord group, then I highly recommend scrolling up. If he's still listening, or if I can see Daily Llama's in there, if you want to post the link in there now, by all means post that link and we'll get new people in that Discord to chat all things fantasy football when we're not around. And yeah, I'm going to call it a morning because it's only just hit the afternoon and everything. I can only thank everybody enough for... There we are. Boona's just putting the link there. Thanks very much. I'm now going to go off air. And thank you for joining the Elite FPL radio show. Thank you so much. And thank you to all the guests that came on. Thank you so much. Take it easy, guys, and see you soon.